started. I'm here for it. Let's do it.
It should be going live any minute.
It's showtime.
Unless I went on the wrong account. But it doesn't look like I did.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no.
How many accounts? You have like 50 accounts. How many accounts do you need?
I have a lot. Well, because you got to separate. I had the original channel, which is what I watch stuff on. Then you have your channel that you upload on. Then you got to have a channel to a backup in case someone copyright strikes this one out of existence.
Yeah.
Then there's one for music. Then there's It's Never
There's
Cloudy.
the one for It's Never Cloudy, right?
Then there's the In-Universe Never Cloudy channel. Then there's the channel, my brother's channel, which I upload skits on. And so that should be all 7 of them, unless I'm forgetting any, but I don't think I am.
I think you're almost rivaling Gorizard with how many channels you have.
Oh yeah, well he's had to have that many because of his run-ins with the law.
He's like the Doctor Who of the Godzilla community.
Yes.
He dies and his channel regenerates.
Yeah.
It's just David regenerating as himself each time. Damn it! I was really hoping to look like who's a doctor? What's the new one's name? The chick.
Jodie Foster, Jodie Whittaker.
Jodie Foster.
I don't know. I don't know people. I don't watch movies.
That's right. I'm a Time Lord. I'm Jodie Foster. I don't know why I made her sound like Matthew McConaughey, but that's.
Now, I've been playing Doctor Who long before anyone ever paid me to play Doctor Who.
Well, welcome to Not G-Fest, everybody who's trying to figure out what's going on. Welcome to Not G-Fest.
Matthew McConaughey and Jodie Foster were going to be guests at this year's convention.
Yeah,
probably not.
'Twas a shame.
Yeah, I'm looking at we already have 38 people watching. It's like, wow.
Hell yeah.
Wow.
So I'm very curious. I want to ask a question to the chat. Have any of you attended Kaiju Con Line today? And if so, how was it?
Yeah, I'm totally out of the loop on that.
Me too.
What is this event these plucky G fans are trying to pull off over the interwebs? Because I hear it's gaining some traction.
I have no idea. I didn't attend. I went to a different con today. Seems like nobody went.
Wait, to your event?
No, I wasn't hosting the other event. I just tuned in. I'm saying nobody went to.
I mean, that's what I mean. Yeah, nobody went to what exactly?
Nobody went to Kaiju Con or whatever.
Oh,
damn it.
Not G-Fest is way better than G-Fest. Hell yes, it is. Jesse. Or Jess. I don't know how to say that. Is that Jess or Jessie?
Jesse?
I would have seen it as, I would have read it as Jesse, although usually Jesse has a Y in there.
Yeah.
Could be the Spanish pronunciation, Hesse, something like that.
Hesse. It's like the feminine version of Jesus.
Yeah.
We have Godzilla's little bro says, "Nah, fam." Can we get an F in chat, boys, for G-Fest 2020?
Oh
man,
it's a sad day.
Yeah, I mean, I could have had I been a lot of more motivated with if G-Fest had come out, I would have definitely have gone there and been a part of the artist alley at that time. I did get invited to join the artist alley for Kaiju Con Line. However, it's I just couldn't physically do it, given how the majority of the events surrounding Kaiju Con Line it's at 1 a.m. for me in Japan. Oh. And that it's also, if I want to promote my comic, which is now the second issue is now available on Amazon.com on Kindle currently, Comixology and print version soon to follow. I can just promote that on Facebook as opposed. I feel like I don't need to be part of the artist alley to just promote the Amazon link.
Yeah, I don't know how are they doing that. I don't know anything about it.
They were promoting this thing called Flickr, which I haven't heard until now. But apparently, Flickr is like a website. You post images on Flickr, and people can then click on these images and then purchase physical prints of them. And then that order then gets sent to you, kind of like Amazon. And then it's your job to get those prints made and sent over to that customer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and although not all the artists have been using Flickr, I know people like John Bellotti Jr. are just using like their own website, selling art via their own websites, and just sort of like pimping out their links to their sites. Larry Quatch used like another particular website as well for selling prints.
Got it. What convention did you attend, D-Man? Did you go to? Was it an online convention or did you go in a big convention? It was. Okay, good. Be safe. I was going to ask if you went like in a giant plastic bubble to a real life convention.
Well, I was supposed to be at Anime Matsuri this weekend. I was supposed to be there.
Oh, that's right.
Doing my thing again, working with the Anime Matsuri crew and Toho. And that, of course,
the Ghidorah brothers.
And well, they weren't going to be there this year, but they were there last year.
Okay.
Alden Tolbert sends in a donation saying, "All hail D-Man and all the Kaiju fans."
Yes, D-Man truly is the be all end all of Godzilla
but
fans.
Mostly, I just want Brayton to bow to me, so the rest of you guys don't have to.
What? I got bad knees. If I can't get back up. I'll just lay on the ground and it'll be like the end of King of the Monsters where like everybody's kneeling to D-Man except it's just me and I'm just writhing on the ground in pain because my legs hurt. I can't get up.
You're pulling Rich Evans. You hear the like bones crack.
Ow! I'm 20. Why am I having these issues? I'm gonna be a wreck in 30 years. I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna have to have like bone replacement or something with titanium alloy, like futuristic Batman shit.
They're gonna have to pull a Katsura on you.
Oh,
he's just gonna open up his stomach, just control things, working his legs.
Rubber wires.
Yeah.
Some weird.
I'm basically gonna be Inspector Gadget by the end of the day, and I'm okay with that.
Go Gadget acting.
Yeah, and then I have a malfunction and like shoot through the roof or something, and it just makes matters worse. But no, yeah, all hail D-Man, all hail blonde D-Man, which I can't wait for next year's GFS. Oh, you're gonna look fabulous.
Yeah. Okay, here's the worst part about it, right? Okay. So here's a bit of an announcement for anybody who didn't know. Anime Matsuri 2020 was delayed this week. It was just delayed about 2 days ago, which means that is getting pushed till 2021. Assuming they get their 2020 guests back out, I will be more than likely hosting the Godzilla vs. Kong panel with my nasty, long, blonde hair.
It won't be nasty. You just got to do it right. It'll be fine.
I don't think there's a right way to do it.
I've dyed my hair once, and it is important. If this is your first time ever dyeing your hair, right? Yeah, you don't want to screw it up. But
really?
you don't want to look like Cruella de Vil or something. Just have like a big streak going down your head. But I don't know. It'll come out eventually. It'll be fine.
It's like, to quote my favorite movie, life finds a way.
And this is your fault, by the way.
This isn't my fault. I didn't know. Okay, see.
Yeah, people are asking what's the context of this.
Okay, in all fairness, the chat just kind of decided it was going to happen, and I agreed to it.
Mm-hmm.
But there was no way I could have known that Mr. L was just going to show up and single-handedly donate the full 1,000 to get it done. There was no way I could have known that would happen.
Yeah. Well, that's you live and learn, okay? Right. And so don't make any foolish promises to your people anymore. Your kingdom. I'm gonna wear pink polka dots next year, and I'm gonna have a clown nose. Don't do these things because you never know.
Yeah.
There may be someone out there with some extra cash that
Lessons
wants to pitch in and see you be humiliated in
That's
front of
right.
everyone.
Thank you very much, Kinky Dora, for the donation.
I love that name.
Kinky Dora that's a pretty fun name.
It is. It sure
it's
is.
Too bad that it's taken. Yeah.
I would bow, but Rob would get jealous. I love the shirt, by the way. It's very kinky. Yes, sir. Just for you.
What shirt are you wearing? I can't see you.
It's my King Ghidorah Kevin shirt.
Oh.
Because I attended the
meme shirt.
I attended the mocap panel today, and so I figured I'd throw the shirt on.
Oh yeah.
Says it's very kinky for the king. One more thing. Do all your guests lift dumbbells with those vocal cords? That bass though, oink oink.
I think that's mainly just my natural
He's
voice.
mainly just you he's talking about, Andres, okay?
Yeah, I mean,
I'm a nasally wacky man, and you're like a I don't know, you're like
What
a morning DJ.
Yes.
You once, I think Braden once referred to my voice as like the combination of George Takei and what's the other guy, the radio host, voice actor?
Oh,
keep your feet on the ground and reach for the
stars.
Yeah,
Casey Kasem, that's
Casey
right.
Kasem, yeah, you referred to me as a combination, my voice is a combination of Casey Kasem and George Takei.
Your voice is an instrument, Andres, and you need to use it for more things. You should be announcing like morning radio or something. You need more gigs, man.
I would totally be down for that if and when hopefully I move back to America next year. I would totally be down to look for any local job openings, see if I can get myself into radio. It's like, this is Andres Perez here on 92.5, the old school station,
and play nothing but the King Caesar song like 24/7. King Caesar and Jet Jaguar and Gamera back to back to back to back.
It's gonna be like that episode of Fresh Prince where he just keeps promoting Ashley's like single. He just puts on different voices. Except I'll have Brayton do all the voices to call in as a different person each time. We've
got a great scam worked up here.
Indeed.
Mr. L decided to chime back in, saying he'll donate another 1,000 for a leg reveal.
Yes.
Oh my.
Show the legs.
I'll do it. Don't
show the stilts.
I'll sell out. I
did
it once.
Call those things, whatever you call those false appendages that aren't your actual legs.
Prosthetics.
Yeah. Prosthetics, that's right. Yeah.
Those false appendages.
Yeah.
I love that, false appendages.
Yeah. If you legitimately think about this,
yeah.
Derek being as tall as you are,
right, I forgot. I never mentioned you were taller than I thought you'd be.
And I'm like 75% leg too.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking of, I went to a parade once in my life, and they had people on stilts at the parade, and like I think about me being kind of taller, and I think about like the bad balance that I have. So me trying to put on stilts and try to walk around like that would just be a nightmare. So I assume that's why they hire shorter people to do that job. Now, Derek, if you had to walk around 24/7 with prosthetic legs on that were that height,
I'd be pretty good with stilts then, huh?
I don't know. Maybe at this point you'd be used to it.
I think because I have all this practice walking around when filming Cloudy, I think I'd be pretty good on stilts.
Yeah, walking around, dancing around. I saw you did that lightsaber opening that one time.
I sure did do that.
Displaying your Jedi skills. Yeah,
that was pretty badass. You have to admit.
I know. Yeah. But no, don't promise any leg reveals. Don't promise anything foolish.
Look, I won't promise a leg reveal, but if you happen to donate 1,000,
oh god.
I'm not saying it won't
shave your beard, shave your hair, shave your eyebrows, all on stream. I promise. Be like isn't there a celebrity who's got like a completely bald head, no eyebrows, and no like facial hair to speak of? No,
yeah,
there's a condition for that, isn't there?
He's an impractical joker, and he got punished.
Yeah. So don't turn your streams into a version of Impractical Jokers where you say, I'm going to do this, and then you're immediately punished. That's a lesson.
That is a fair point.
Lesson to learn. So Andres, on our next
Yes.
live stream, are we going to promise to do something silly for
Oh,
donations? Donate $5 and
I'll commission Draco Zul in whatever embarrassing situation you want to see him in.
you see how this can go downhill fast. This is why you don't do it.
Yes.
We're trying to help you here, my friend.
Guys, in the chat,
called-
if you guys donate another $1,000, I'll shave I'll shave it all. I'll shave the mustache and beard in September. That'll be the deal.
You're gonna do that anyway. Right?
Why would you say that?
Adios,
That was my one
shaving
chance.
in September.
That was my one chance, and you
Okay.
ruined it.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
Let's see. Mr. L donated $5 saying, I'll donate $1,000 for the vocal cord training regiment. A no surgery or hydration is going to replicate that alpha call. What?
Is he
Your
saying
voice
that he
is
has to
an alpha
donate so that
call?
I can train my voice to be able to do Ghidorah's alpha call?
Oh,
Is this what
okay.
he's saying?
Okay. Just gonna stand on a high surface somewhere and shout very loudly, and
Yeah.
all the other Godzilla YouTubers commence to.
And I end up like crossing the ocean like Godzilla from Megalon.
Ah,
There's something funny's going on. I better check.
I love how even in the Japanese version, Godzilla's still shouting in English.
Yeah.
Kind of. Yeah, it's like there's no dubbed voice, but everything's in like cartoon speech bubbles, and like everything's still Japanese except for okay.
Yeah.
okay, yeah.
Are you sure? Because when I watched the movie in Japanese, he was speaking English, but there were Japanese
Oh,
like comic bubbles that would come out.
right. The Japanese version still has the the same English voice,
Yeah.
but with the Japanese bubbles. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
weird. At first, I thought that was simply the English dub placed over the Japanese print.
Yeah.
But I think I think I have 2 copies of the movie that have that on both copies.
Right, like I have the VHS copy that has no speech bubble and the English dub, and then the DVD that has both dubs. However, I haven't looked back at that DVD in years, perhaps like a decade, so I should look back at that Sony DVD and see whether or not the Japanese and English dubs feature the cartoon bubble, or if the Japanese dub features the English voice.
What were they thinking with that movie, man? And what is with like the weird like record script? It sounds like it's first off, the English is almost unintelligible except for the okay and the it sounds like, you know, those like weird YouTube videos or whatever where it's like, hey, if you play this song backwards, it sounds like he's saying something else. That's what it sounds like. It's very creepy and unsettling and not okay for children. So I don't know what they were thinking.
Well, you know what, Braden, we can always chalk it up to. It was the 70s.
It was the 70s. People weren't
True.
thinking.
Godzilla
Right.
also pronounces his friend Anguirus' name wrong, so.
Yeah.
There's
Very-
something funny going on.
You know, I'd be okay with that if they stuck with that for like more movies. If they're like, hey, okay, Godzilla, he's just gonna talk now, and you gotta deal with it. I'd be like,
Don't
okay,
like it,
I'd
fuck
accept
you.
it. Yeah, I mean, like, if you're gonna commit that hard to something,
See, as a kid, I always thought it was because they were playing that tape, and I was like, oh, so we can just hear what they're saying whenever the tape is playing. But then I'm pretty sure there's a scene when the tape isn't playing and they're still speaking, so...
Right,
Yeah.
it's still the scratchy voice,
yeah.
the scratchy sound
Well,
effect.
and then right after they like win their battle or whatever, and they're like congratulating themselves, they have like that weird little record scratch when like Godzilla's roaring. and
but
shit.
there's no dub voice, so it's like I
No.
was always wondering like what's going on there.
Was there like a malfunction in the editing bay? What I don't know what happened.
Yeah, I remember it was like a moment where like Godzilla is bending over and like talking to Anguirus.
Yeah,
Like,
blah,
hey,
blah, blah.
you okay?
Yeah.
you don't look so hot there.
One thing I like to choose to believe though is if he's talking in the movie, that end song is just him singing as he walks away. He's like
He
singing
sings
his own song.
theme song.
Hey, I'm pretty cool. I just kicked that dragon's ass. I don't know.
Okura no Gojira.
That
That's
song is
me.
awesome.
It's
Yes,
amazing.
it is.
Yeah.
It was funny. Like I think like Matt Burkett, when he was in Japan, we actually sung that song. I think when we were like at like a karaoke place,
Yeah.
and what's funny is like they always had like the weirdest visuals on screen with the words because there's like stock music videos that they play. Whenever
Oh, I've
like,
seen those with like, hey,
Yeah.
here's like some random video of like a garden or the beach.
Yeah, like a scenic
somewhere.
Yeah.
beach. Yeah.
Yeah.
or just some of the videos are like scenic views of New Orleans for some reason. It's like,
Well, when I
what?
think of Godzilla, I think of New Orleans.
Right, but
Going
here's the
back
thing. So
naturally.
Mardi Gras.
the stock music video they used for the Godzilla March from Gigan is like a CG animation of a house turning into a robot, flying into space and destroying like flying saucers. I'm like, where?
That sounds about right.
Yeah,
That's
it's
what I
pretty
saw.
Godzilla.
You know what?
That's how I remember it.
You know what? Like tone wise, it definitely matches with the song.
Yeah.
Because it's a very like 70s superhero theme type of jam. So it's like, yeah, I get it, but it's like, where did this come from?
It
Is
was
the footage like a new kind of shot footage, or is it like from something old?
Oh no, it's very much so like filmed like recent. It felt like it was filmed at
So
least,
made
like,
just
10
for that
years ago.
karaoke. It's just made for that karaoke.
Yes. Oh yeah. All the music, like the stock music assets, seemed like it was all filmed just for that karaoke, and it seemed like a lot of like karaoke places in Japan all shared the similar like stock music video assets, unless it's like a super popular song or it's a song from a popular movie. Then they'll put in like footage from the movie or TV series, like Devilman. If I was singing like the Devilman theme song, it would be a montage of clips from Devilman. Or if I'm singing the Jew Ranger theme, it'll show scenes from at least the first episode of Jew Ranger.
Yeah, the Godzilla series has been so lucky with like the lyrical songs that they've had. Like, of course, we know everybody knows that D-Man's favorite is "Goodbye Godzilla."
Yes.
He's sung that quite beautifully in the past.
Yes.
Yes, I remember that. They were very
and with heartfelt emotion and tears in his eyes.
I did.
personal. Yeah, yeah.
But
Truly an unforgettable moment in the history of D-Man's channel.
a groundbreaking moment. Yeah, and like that song and there were lyrics. I didn't know this until recently. There are lyrics to the Mechagodzilla song, like
Yes,
the bum, bum,
it's
bum,
awesome, dude.
Whoa,
The song
Yeah.
Attack Mechagodzilla slaps so hard.
fantastic.
I would go as
that's
far
my
as to say-
favorite thing ever.
I can't think of, off the top of my head, a single lyrical song in the franchise that isn't good.
No, all of them have been winners.
think-
Echoes of
wasn't
Love
like-
is a banger.
Yeah,
I like the XAI music quite a bit.
yeah.
Yeah, they're definitely catchy earworms. There was another one. I think there was like another old school Godzilla track. I think it was also from Gigan. It's not the Godzilla March. It's something else entirely.
Yeah. There's a few. I could pull up the soundtrack. I own it.
Yeah, it was like
Not to brag or anything, guys, but
I got
happen to-
vinyl collections.
I happen to own every Godzilla soundtrack thanks to a mutual friend of ours who I hit up and said, "Yo, can you just send me them?" And then he did. So,
Yes, I can. Yeah. So now you've have all that
not to name
stockpiled.
names. So no, I just
Not to name names, but we all know.
We all
Yeah,
know who it is.
I know.
Yeah.
Where is this soundtrack? There's actually a few on here.
Yeah, you never get like, and no kaiju film ever just like stops for 3 minutes to have a musical number anymore, and that's a shame.
Yeah, what is that?
It's very upsetting to me.
Like only Disney ever does that. Like they started it and they're the only ones who still continue it.
Now, outside of Godzilla, some of them have been real like shit. Like some of them have been really crap. Like of course,
Hey,
words
don't-
get stuck in my throat.
No, what are you
And,
talking? Don't you dare talk bad about that song.
Oh god! And what is the one from Matango where she just goes la 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 for like 3 minutes on the boat? She couldn't even be bothered to learn any lyrics for the song at all. And there's another. Oh, what is it? Reptilicus, though. On the other hand.
Oh yeah, that was like one big.
The Tivoli night, so what a night! All Copenhagen is dancing. And then
Right,
there's
it was-
the Danish
one-
song.
Yeah.
which is where they have what's that weird little like park number with the comic guy and they all dance singing about Reptilicus. It's a
Oh
little
yeah, I
funny.
remember that. God, it's so long.
Reptilicus. Yeah, odd. Um, but no, I missed that. We need more of that. Yeah.
I
Wasn't there like
agree.
a isn't there like a wasn't there like a J-pop song to go along with King of the Monsters
Yeah,
last
there
year?
was. Okay, that one I actually
Really?
didn't really like, but that
I
was
didn't
only
like it at all,
that
but it
was
was
only for the
hilarious to me.
Japanese version.
Yeah,
Andres,
I
how did
saw
you
a
not see
trailer
that?
with that song. I think I
Huh.
showed that to you, Andres, didn't I? There was
I
a
don't.
trailer that
I
a Japanese trailer they put out with that music in it, and it didn't
Right.
fit at all. But I
Right,
just
right.
thought I
I
shared it
think
with
you
you.
I think you shared with me. I've forgotten since then because that was probably a year ago at this point. But I do remember commenting something along the lines of, "Oh yeah, they gotta promote a new pop idol singer like
Yeah.
every year,
And it
every
sounded
movie."
just like generic sort of poppy stuff. Like it didn't
Yeah, yeah.
fit at all.
Andres,
Uh,
did you see King of the Monsters in Japan?
Yes, I did.
Did you stick through the credits?
I think so. I could have sworn. Yeah. What was it? I remember I was sticking through the credits, hoping for a after credit scene, and I did. I remember I saw Jonah, and pretty much like in general, everyone stays until the lights turn
Yeah.
on back. When it comes to Japanese audiences in cinemas. But I don't recall seeing like anything beyond the Ghidorah head or anything like
Well, no.
that.
That's all there is. But they were supposed to replace the end credit music with the J-pop song.
Okay, I recall hearing the Mothra song, and that was beautiful to listen
Yeah,
to.
that's in there.
But I don't recall any J-pop. It's like I remember the cover of the Blue Oyster Cult Godzilla song, and then the Mothra song, and then maybe one more song. But I think it was like it was from the orchestral score, and that was it. I don't recall listening to any pop song really.
Huh. Well, because I know when they were promoting that song, they were claiming that it was going to take the place of the Blue Oyster Cult cover by Serge Tankian.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely
And
not the case
I know it
here.
didn't do that because I know that they didn't make a whole new montage. But I was
Hmm.
curious if it was then going to take the place of the end credits. If they really
Right,
just
right.
made that weird song for the trailers,
I saw one and it did not fit the. I think
Not
it
at
was like
all.
over imagery from the first trailer where it's like all beautiful and majestic and shit, and you have this really high energy like J-pop like anime sounding. Well, I was just so put off by it. I don't know. Do they have tie-in music like that for all American releases over there though? Do they all get like weird
I
J-pop
don't think
music?
Definitely not. Like I've seen a fair amount of Japanese trailers to American movies in my day, and they're all
Yeah.
pretty much like just copy pasted from the
Yeah.
American trailers, just with Japanese text and like a Japanese announcer just reading the text. It's like like new Will Smith movie, Jiminy Man,
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And it's very minimalistic in terms of like the changes they would make.
Well,
to the
music could have fit for
trailers.
Gemini Man, though. I mean, we could have had a Will Smith rap number for Gemini Man.
Yeah, he
Just have him
needs to
duetting
he
with
needs-
himself.
Right. Yeah, he needs to go back to doing tie-in music. Remember the Men in Black theme. Remember the Wild Wild West theme.
Wild
Remember
Wild West.
like the Wild Wild West.
Yeah.
Or remember the nod your head, the black suit's coming. Nod your head.
Well, he did do that version of "Friend Like Me" and the Aladdin thing, where it was sort of more
yeah.
hip hop. But
Yeah. Yo, I'm the genie of the lamb.
yeah, yeah.
I remember I saw the Aladdin remake in Japanese theaters. I was like, "Yep, that's a thing."
That happened, and
That
I
happened,
saw
yeah.
it, and
I
I
saw
never
it.
need to see it again. Derek, did you see the Aladdins?
You know, I was peer pressured into going with a group of friends to see that movie, and actually, I think I benefited from not having seen the original Aladdin, so I didn't
wow.
have any.
Wait,
prior
whoa.
expectations. Hold on.
Yo, what? What?
I was trying to slip that one under, so see if you notice. Yeah, I think I benefited from not having seen that, so I went in and it was like, this is a nothing movie. This is something that's happening on screen.
Yeah, it just felt so lifeless to me. Like it, I heard somebody describe like what is it, the Prince Ali's where they're marching through the streets. It just looked like a Disney World parade or something. Like there
Yeah,
was
it
there was
does.
nothing really visually stunning like in the cartoon.
Like yeah, with animation you can pretty much have like free reign to do whatever you want with the right budget. But with this one, it's like it all felt very minimalistic. Like it tries
Yeah.
to be like a very big Bollywood type of performance, but even like Bollywood films are more visually interesting than
Oh
what's
yeah.
going on in with the Prince Ali sequence.
Yeah, just nothing really like standoutish about like the direction of the camera work or anything during
No,
that scene.
no.
Or even like
It,
choreography wasn't all that, you
it's
know.
like aside from like two plot points that were never in the original film, this movie is pretty much like beat for beat the original movie, like
Yeah.
just copying everything. So it's like it kind of feels very point like it feels like the Psycho remake where it's like sure on its own it's competent, but it's so similar to the original. It's like what's the
Yeah,
point
but
of
you get to see Anne
this?
Heche's boobs. Isn't that different enough for you?
Wait,
Isn't that
what? Hold on. I'm gonna go watch Psycho's remake
Derek,
right
Derek,
now.
Derek, it's not that impressive. You're not missing
No,
anything.
no, you barely see anything. It's just
No.
side boob.
Yeah. And what there? Yeah, with that, there's no reason to. And Anne Heche, I mean, come on, you could do better, my friend. But no, yeah, I understand. I know what you mean. That I just don't understand the point anymore, from an artistic standpoint of
Yeah.
doing these things.
Like,
But obviously,
well-
that's not a factor.
Like even Maleficent, which I hated, I would say has more merit. Earns the merit to exist more so than
Oh, yeah.
Aladdin.
Yeah.
Well, I even saw The Lion King, and that was even worse because
sure.
like for The Lion King, it's like even more so like following in line beat for beat with the original movie. But it's like the problem with The Lion King is that like you have these very expressive characters, like their like vocal range, like they're emoting, but
Yeah.
their faces don't emote at all. So there's a huge disconnect between what I'm seeing and what I'm hearing.
Yeah, they just continue to get more and more pointless. Like a more and more pointless retread each and every time. I heard another person say that if they want to differentiate themselves even more and go more artistic with it, they could have done like a no dialogue version of The Lion King if they wanted to like
Yeah.
separate it completely and if they were hell bent on making everything as realistic as possible. But yeah, seeing these like, wacky voices come out of, expressionless lion
Deadpan.
faces.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like, this is.
Also, the new version of Be Prepared can go fuck itself.
Oh, yeah.
I love that song. That's one of the few Disney songs I would end up singing every time at karaoke.
Yeah. Yeah.
You guys
You have
ready
seen
to
it.
get
You've-
even more
you've seen-
disappointed in me?
Please disappoint us more. Yes.
Yes.
You've never seen The Lion King, have you? I'm going to beat you to it.
Yeah, you beat me to it. Okay, the thing is, I don't think I
How-
can say
how-
never.
How dare you not grow up
How
with the
young
exact
are
same-
you?
I think when I saw The Lion King, I was like 2 years old. I have, however, I can't officially say I've never seen the movie. I've just never seen it proper. I have watched The Lion King in German, if that counts for anything.
What the fuck?
That is. I'll give that to you. That is way out of left field, but sure.
Yeah.
I hear
mean,
really good things. Something
Sorry, go ahead.
something I'm disappointed I've never seen. I've heard all raving things about is the Lion King Broadway musical. Is apparently out of this world.
I haven't seen that. Is that on Disney Plus?
I
They should.
don't think so. It should be though. They put Hamilton on Disney Plus, right?
Yeah, they sure
Now,
did.
now that's
hell?
something
On
that
my
everyone's
TV.
talking about.
Yeah.
Every time I turn my TV on, I get an ad for that play.
That show, yeah. That will never. Yeah, I hope it doesn't. Is it already overexposed? Do you think, Hamilton?
Yes.
I haven't seen it, but there's been a little too much hoopla around it
Oh,
for my
yeah. Yeah.
liking. Better than Cats, though, right, Andres?
Oh dear God, yeah. I got the entire SOS gang together to watch Cats just for the hell of it.
The
We're
Cats.
like,
I warned you too.
it's boring.
It's a nothing. It's just a big pile of nothing. And
Like once you get over the shock of
look,
seeing
they're dressed
Cats,
as cats, and
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
about it.
that like you once you get over that sort of shock after like the first like 10 minutes, you're like, oh, this there really is nothing to this whole thing.
It's not even like continuously creatively weird enough to keep your attention like all throughout it. It just has a numbing effect on you, to where you're just waiting for it to end.
And I can only listen to da 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 da, and like they keep repeating that motif like again and again. It's like, God damn, this music's repetitive.
Now did you either of you ever end up seeing the movie version?
No.
Yeah. That was the thing that made me giggle the most, though, is because everybody, when the trailer for the movie came out, everybody was just out of their minds, like, what is this?
I thought that's what you were talking about the whole time. I didn't think you guys were talking about the play. I know the play exists. I thought you were saying you assembled the whole crew to watch the movie. Why would you do that for the play?
Because we wanted to make something to tie into the hoopla of the movie, but we couldn't get the video edited for reasons.
Well, that's the silly thing that I was just so confused about, was everybody was like, what is this, when the movie trailer came out? And I was like that with the play. I mean, this thing has been around. It's always been like, what is just
But you got to realize, Brayton, most people don't watch plays.
I know. I'm a 50-year-old middle-aged housewife who enjoys the theater.
I watched some high school productions, and then
High School Musical. Derek, is that your? That doesn't count.
It was High School Musical, the series. Thank you very much.
Oh, okay, that's different. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to step on your toes. Yes, that's a very different thing. But
Entirely.
Yeah, but no, I don't know. I can understand the initial shock and awe of how bad the effects look, but the musical was never that great. Hollywood in recent years hasn't had a wonderful like track record with their musical adaptations. Like, I'm not a big Les Miserables fan. The movie version.
Right, I've heard things. I haven't seen Les Miserables the movie, but I have heard things about the movie.
Well, what's her name? I'm blanking on her name now. The
YouTuber?
No, the actress who's in Les Miserables. Okay. She was
Anne Hathaway.
She's really good in it, but Russell Crowe is an unintentional comedic genius, I want to say, almost, in the way that he sings, where it's like it's just shouty with music in the background. Yeah, so that's a hard sit.
Gotta give a quick shout out here really fast to our boy Titan Goji, who commented in the chat saying,
"Oh, cool!"
Saying, just wanted to pop in and say hi and buy Draco Azul #2.
Yeah. Hooray!
Draco Azul the musical, Andres. You have to.
Oh my God!
Let me write the music.
You know what? Okay, fine. I'll if it's in your hands.
Okay.
Sure.
In my very capable hands. Okay.
In your pale skeletal hands.
Yeah. I thank you, I guess. No. Yeah. Hollywood musicals, they don't mix very well recently.
Just wondering, Derek, can I share the Amazon link to Draco Azul #2 in the chat?
Go for it.
All right.
Well, you
Hopefully
do that.
It'll work.
I want to give another shout out to our boy Mr. L. I've been sitting on this super chat forever, and I don't want him to think I missed it. He just asked, "How's the Mephies cosplay rolling? You ready to look like an you ready to look like an 80s looking space? I don't even know what that word is. So something. It's all right. I'm too dyslexic to try and force myself to read that word, but
so I'm looking at like 2010s musical films, and I'm looking at The Greatest Showman. That's one that came out recently. Let's see.
I'm making generalized statements here. I'm not gonna pollute Derek's stream with my reviews of the musical genre.
La La Land came out. Also.
I'm gonna take a big stab in the dark and say that's not what the audience is particularly interested in hearing my opinions on musical theater or adaptations. Let's change the subject here.
Sure,
Back to Derek looking like an 80s spaced kid with his flowing robes.
Yes. So it's coming along. So I haven't even started. I've got a long time to worry about that. So.
Yeah. Well, how far are you gonna go with it? If I were you, I'd just plop away. If I were you, I'd cheat my entire audience out and just plop a wig on and like get a bathrobe or something and say, "Hey, this is what you wanted."
You wanted it.
get a purple scarf and use that as your sash.
You didn't say it had to be good. You
I
just said
didn't say it had to be good.
Yeah.
That is true. Here's what I'm thinking is my cousin's a hairstylist, so I've talked to her about it, and she's claiming that I don't need to grow my hair that long in order to pull it off, which is good because I don't want hair that long. So that's a bonus. And then the robe shouldn't be that hard to pull off. I feel like I could pull off his little robe fairly easily. The only thing that sucks is the blonde hair. And I've talked to her about it. I think I'm just gonna actually dye it blonde, but right after G-Fest is over, I'm dyeing it something different.
Yeah, no, you don't want to ruin your hair. My sister has had her hair dyed like, oh my god, like 12 times or something, and like you don't want to fry your roots or whatever.
I won't. I won't go sicko mode with it.
Yeah.
Davis says, Super Saiyan D-Man.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Golden blonde.
You got okay, yeah. Hold on. Before you go, so don't. I forgot which comes first next year. G-Fest or Anime Matsuri.
I don't think there's a date for Matsuri yet, but I'm hoping that Matsuri is first.
Okay, because if it's after G-Fest, hold on to it. Wait until Anime Matsuri, and then you can just style it in a Super Saiyan.
Yeah, exactly. Or I can just cosplay as Mephies. He's an anime character, not a very well-known one, but he is an anime character.
That is true. You can technically do that. Or heck, you know what? Screw it. You can just if you got the suit, you can cosplay as every blonde character in the movie because they all look the same.
Yes. I'll just have like a name tag that says blonde anime Godzilla guy, and then they'll know.
Number
like,
one,
got it.
And then number 2.
I'll switch it out every day.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a wide range of possibilities.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not gonna keep it blonde. That's for sure. I don't want to keep it blonde.
As long as it, I think it'll look okay. As long as there's not a freak accident or something. I think it'll look okay for a day or two.
Also a vat of chemicals, and now he is forever blonde.
Yeah,
that would be. He
becomes the blonde
great.
Joker.
That would be not great.
The real question is, what do I do after blonde?
Purple, I told you.
I'm not doing purple.
I've wanted to dye my hair for ages now. I'm thinking of something wild like silver and with black highlights or something stupid and wonderful. But no, go purple. Go something outlandish. Because if you're gonna have dyed hair, make a statement with it. Go purple or do something outlandish.
See,
Don't be.
I'm thinking maybe this is my chance to finally do the Parzival hair, with the silver.
Oh yeah.
The silver with blue.
Dude, you can totally nail a Parzival cosplay.
Yeah, I'm thinking this might be my chance. But see now everyone telling me to go for Billie Eilish hair, and
oh my
that's
god.
Also calling. That's calling my name as well. Black with green roots. I mean, come on.
Oh.
Wait a minute. Aren't you and Billie Eilish the same age?
Aren't you the same person?
We are the same person.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you could pull off a Billie Eilish cosplay, I suppose. That's I don't know if she counts as an anime character.
I did successfully change my Twitter account into a Billie Eilish account last week. So.
Okay, you gotta explain that because I'm not part of the Twitterverse, the Twitter world.
Did you see it happen at all?
No, I never go on Twitter.
See, I was wondering, like, from an outside perspective, if people didn't know what was happening, like, for instance, Michael Doherty follows me on Twitter. So I wonder what happens the next day when Michael Doherty hops on Twitter, and then all of a sudden, D-Man's no longer D-Man, he's suddenly a Billie Eilish account. I wonder what runs
Why is Billie Eilish retweeting all my Godzilla stuff? I don't understand.
or like Toho, they follow me as well. What do they think when they hop on and they're like, what the hell is happening?
Is this an out of season April Fool's joke?
It was just to get back at the fandom. I made a very reasonable video in which I very clearly and thoroughly laid out my thoughts on the potential of
Sure.
Mechagodzilla in the MonsterVerse. And
Right, I saw that.
people responded by not watching the video, only reading the title, and then going off
Right.
on massive rants. And so I decided
Right.
that since the Godzilla fan base isn't worth it anymore, maybe I'm just going to switch into the Billie Eilish fan base and see how it goes.
You're gonna be E-Man 1990 whatever.
We decided. Oh, what did we say? Oh, B-Man. I would be B-Man.
B-Man.
B-Man
yes.
2001 is what we
Okay.
decided.
I'm B-Man 2001. That username's taken. You'll be
Fair
B-Man
enough.
2002. Or whatever, you know.
But she was born in 2001. You're ruining.
Oh,
the
I guess that
whole
makes
Whoa.
sense. Well, what
God damn, that makes me feel old. The fact
what-
that someone can reach such huge status from someone who was born within this century.
Yeah.
Well, listen to who you're talking to. D-Man has achieved God status in the Godzilla.
I know,
fandom
I
community.
know.
That is true. That's true. We're speaking to one Gen Z person, two Gen Z people right here.
I'm a Gen Zer, as you've laid
Yeah.
out for me the other day. Unfortunately,
As the
I'm-
chat is pointing out, I'm actually younger than Billie Eilish. The chat has.
oh yeah,
Right.
you're 14.
corrected me.
That's
Yes, right. That's it's canon now.
Mhm.
That's a rough 14 years. You got a beard and
I
everything.
know. It's been hard, guys. I
Wow.
don't think
all
people
the stress.
appreciate that enough.
How hard he works for you people. All the stress you put him through. Look at him. Look at this boy. I can't see him right now, but I imagine he looks all
I'm
haggard.
looking at him right now.
Oh, okay.
You got my sympathy.
He cries into his Billie Eilish pillow at night for all the
Hey,
mean things you
Brayden,
people
what the
say.
hell?
in the
Don't talk about that, dude.
Sorry, I didn't mean to reveal. Sorry.
yeah, you know.
I bought you that pillow. That's right.
Yeah.
No. If you do the Billie Eilish hair, Derek, you need to do a remake of Bad Guy because we know that's your favorite song of hers.
That
We
is
know.
so not my favorite song of hers. That is
Yes, it is.
absolutely my
Don't-
least favorite
don't
song
deny-
of
You've
hers.
sang it
Don't
before.
deny it.
You've sang it
I've
with
sang
ease
it multiple
before.
times. Oh, with ease. I had to look up the lyrics. Here's a fun little Easter egg for you. There was that Kaiju Zilla YouTube rewind he does every year. And if you go back and watch his YouTube rewind this year, or for 2019, I dressed in a yellow hoodie, just like in Bad Guy, and I recreated some of the dances from the music video. So there you go. There's some sneaky
Can't
little Easter
wait.
egg for you.
Thank goodness.
Mr.
What was
L.
last year? Didn't you do the Joker dance or something? I know I saw the
No, it was
last.
the same video. It was the same video. I started by jokering
Okay.
down the stairs, and then I bad guyed through the rest of the video.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right. Okay.
Mr. L donates saying, people talking about Mechagodzilla, Kevin's head, anyone? They're one thing. They're just gonna. So what it is Mechagodzilla's body, and then they just stuff Kevin's head into the empty head socket.
Right.
Well, isn't
What
it
really happens,
is it Mecha Godzilla or Mecha King Ghidorah at that point then? If they just
Okay,
stuff his head in
so
there.
here's what happens: is it's Mechagodzilla, and then just like classic Terror of Mechagodzilla reference, Godzilla tears off the head. Although this time, instead of being the little brain inside, it's just Kevin's head is just there.
It was me, Godzilla. It was me all along.
Ah, son of a bitch! But no, the missed opportunity could have been John Goodman's head in there, or Bryan Cranston's head in there, like rebuilt for like they're all gnarled and like dead looking, stitched together.
Who's to say it's not just
Now
a
I'm one
Frankenstein
of
of them
them.
both?
Oh my God! Could you imagine like a giant two-headed Bryan Cranston, John Goodman hybrid monster?
He's
Missed
a monster.
opportunities.
He's a monster fueled by the spirits of the dead.
That
waste
would have been
characters.
Gareth's finale. Damn it! If he was still here, he would have done that. That was his destroy all monster concept.
Hollywood had to come in and ruin the director's
know.
vision.
Where does Sam Jackson fit into this though? He needs to be revived. He
Yeah.
can be like
He'll be the head on Mechagodzilla's tail.
okay.
I know you like that idea, Brayton.
Yeah, I'm mad about that idea. So what have we got here? John Goodman, Bryan
Yeah.
Cranston head hybrid with the Sam Jackson tail.
And where does
And-
Serizawa?
Oh yeah, where's Serizawa? He's got to be like Oh, okay. I got it. I know.
Okay.
So
what?
you know that one monster from the original Ultraman is like a starfish bat thing?
Yes.
What if it's like one side is Bryan Cranston,
Right.
the other side is John Goodman, and just
Right.
got a giant Ken Watanabe head in the middle? I think that'll be. I think that'll be put it over the top. Why doesn't
Genius.
Hollywood should take our ideas? We should
Yeah,
be in
why
charge of
aren't
things.
we hired?
No one is listening
Yeah.
to us, and it makes me
Yeah.
sad.
Okay,
Yeah.
here's a better idea.
Mhm.
Better idea.
All right. All right.
Unless
Better
this
than
is,
that, you
unless
better
this
come
is
up with
what you
something.
were referring to. Were you referring to? Okay, hold on. Where is Sam Jackson's face?
The tail.
Like the tip of the tail?
Yeah, like the
Yes.
Shin Godzilla.
Like Shin
stuff.
Godzilla. Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Just making sure.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell if it was gonna be like a, like a Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla 2 kind of thing, where they're just like, he's the brain inside of his butt, So
Oh.
it could have been. It could have been either.
Okay.
Or Sam Jackson could be like flying his head could be attached to the Garuda jetpack.
Yeah. Yes. It's just a flying Serizawa face that attaches itself to the back of this thing.
These may be jumping the shark. I don't know. I don't know if this would have broad appeal.
I think we may
True.
have gone too far in a few places.
But it'd be entertaining for us, and that's all that matters.
Mr. L
Yes.
says that when Godzilla finally unmasks Kevin inside of Mechagodzilla, Kevin's dialogue will be, "And I would have gotten away with it too if it weren't for you meddling kids."
Yeah, well, I would just like to point out anything is possible because, as you guys know, 30 years ago, they never found John Goodman, Bryan Cranston, or Sam Jackson's corpse, as Raymond Burr would tell us. So,
Yeah.
if we don't have a body, anything is possible. Well, I guess we found Bryan Cranston's body because they put it in a plastic bag, zipped it
Yeah,
up,
they
and
did. They sure did.
tossed it out of a boat somewhere or something. But no, John Goodman was eaten. He could have pulled like a Ron Perlman from the end of
Exactly. Maybe
Pacific
just
Rim.
crawling around
Where's-
in there. They
Where's
blew
my
it-
motherfucking
lunch.
camera?
No, he's like, "Where's my lunch?"
Where's my salami sandwich? Where did poor Johnny? We need to stop making the John Goodman fat jokes. That man's lost weight. He's done good for himself. John Goodman's an icon. Okay.
Not enough. We will continue to fat shame him. No. He's a great actor.
He's an amazing actor, and he
Yes,
was
he
great in
is.
that movie, and he's great in everything.
Especially the Flintstones.
I don't know about that. I don't know if that's the highlight of his career.
It was the highlight for me, man. Speak for yourself.
Well, he was he in the sequel they did?
Oh no, everyone got recasted. So
That's
no Rick Moranis, no John Goodman, no Betty. What was her name?
Rosie O'Donnell.
No Rosie O'Donnell.
Yeah, well, that's
It's prequel. So of course, when everyone is younger, you look like a completely different person when you're younger.
Well, all I'm saying, and just to wrap that up, is John Goodman's a good man. Hey, see what I did there? John Goodman is a good man. Huh? I didn't even mean to do that, but no, he's a good man. I know him personally. He comes over for barbecue occasionally, and I'm lying. But we don't mean any harm towards John Goodman because yeah, he's a good guy. Samuel Jackson, on the other hand, that bastard was gonna kill King Kong, and he was turned evil and was gonna kill. Wasn't he? What didn't he like point his gun at Marlowe in that movie? He was gonna kill off.
He pointed his
face?
gun at many people in that.
Many people in
Yeah.
that movie. Yeah, that's right. He was gonna
Yeah.
kill off the entire cast of that movie.
He's a very aggressive individual.
Yeah.
He had some anger issues.
That seems out of left field for me. Sam Jackson playing an aggressive individual on screen. That goes against casting.
Especially if you're someone who's only ever saw him in like the prequel trilogy.
Well, he's been in some non-aggressive stuff. He was I'm trying to think of something now.
That
I
one
can't
time
think
he
of anything.
showed up in Age of Ultron for 5 seconds.
That's
Wait,
right.
Oh yeah.
He's like, hey, you guys,
You got this.
you got this.
That
man.
one time he showed up during the funeral in Endgame.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
How did he get there in Ultron? I'm still wondering that. Why is he just hanging out in random barns across the country?
Well, apparently that's been retconned, so that's the Skrull who's hanging out.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
because apparently the last and I might be wrong. I might be showing how uninformed I am, but as to my understanding, the last time we see real Nick Fury is Winter Soldier, and then at the end of Winter Soldier, he goes off and does his own thing, and then from that point on, it's Talos or whatever his name was, impersonating him, except for supposedly it's real Nick Fury at Tony Stark's funeral. So, you know, I guess they're just kind of picking and choosing depending on what they think the fans will want to hear.
It would have been awkward if 2 Nick Furies showed up to that funeral and they had to do battle, and one of them was exposed as a robot. But no.
2 Nick Furies, what could this mean?
Yeah.
The Marvel fan base must be so confused or astonished. But no, he was more or less in those appearances anyway, sort of taciturn and not aggressive and violent and pointing guns at people. So
except the parts where he was pointing guns
except
at people.
those parts where he was doing exactly the opposite. But anyway, let's get off this. Anybody in the audience want to know anything? Anybody have questions for
James
the
Varela
D-Man?
has a very important statement here that I think should all heard by all. And
Okay.
All it says is, "My dude D-Man, keep the mustache. It suits you."
I like the mustache.
Thanks,
I do like
James.
The mustache. Yeah, you should keep that. Or I don't know. Do what you want to do. I'm not telling you how to run your face.
Look, I can't confirm anything, but I have it on good authority that if Mr. L donates another 1,000 tonight, it'll be gone in September.
And I won't say anything this time. So yeah, donate to the cause.
Ad rev is pretty low, guys.
You gotta do your part if you want to see more D-Man content.
At this point, I would be making more money serving fast food, so you gotta entice me to stay.
You're running this man off the internet. You need to help a boy out.
God, the
That's the thing,
Ultraman
man.
fandom sure is. That's
the
sure.
Ultra fans. How are they
The
taking
Ultra
to?
fans. That's good. I like that name. They got a name. Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
They're not.
That's way
they're
better
not
than
taking
G-Man.
Here's the best part of it is. So I made a fairly harmless review of some of the episodes of the original Ultraman yesterday, and because it's me, and the Ultra fandom hates me, they decided.
Why?
Because you don't own a pair of Ultraman footy pajamas and don't
exactly. Here's the real reason is because I made a video on Shin Ultraman, and they're like, "Oh, so you're selling out to talk about Shin Ultraman?" Which
how are you selling out? You're just
isn't it kind of your channel and you can talk about anything you want?
Yeah,
it's my channel. I can talk about whatever the hell I want. It's a topic, a news topic, which is kind of like the main point of the channel, and. It's very closely related to stuff I've talked about before, but the big issue is I showed an image made by Matt Frank, and get this, I misidentified an Ultra.
Oh, well, how dare you?
I know, I misidentified an Ultra, and then I had
how
the
dare
audacity,
you assume that Ultra's identity?
I had the audacity to claim to be an Ultraman fan, although if you actually watch that video, never once do I claim to be an Ultraman fan, and in fact I start the video by saying I don't know much about Ultraman, I'm just talking about the things that I want to talk about.
Right. I do recall you were saying that you had very little,
very
like almost like next
exposure.
like limited. Right. So you were coming from this from a newcomer's perspective, from a Godzilla fan's perspective, who is interested in Ultraman.
Exactly. Yeah.
Isn't that just so like horribly toxic? Like the people who are just so against any, but it's weird because they're against anybody not knowing everything that they know, but they're also like against
you trying to learn.
Yeah, trying to get into anything. They're like over their weird protective territory that they've assumed. For
totally.
themselves.
I've seen that a lot amongst different fan bases where it's like, oh, you don't know as much as me. It's like they pride themselves on how much they know.
Gatekeeper or something?
Elitism.
Yeah.
Both terms are the proper.
It's so
term.
stupid.
It's because they pissed all over the fandom to mark their territory, and then I'm smell blind, so I strolled on in there and had no idea, and so I caused a lot of problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By making one harmless video on the internet,
I made
you
one
set a
harmless
fire.
video. I made another harmless video yesterday, and it was
Yeah.
swamped with like an uncharacteristically high number of dislikes, which is so much more incentive for me to continue doing what I'm doing with Ultraman, because that shows me that clearly they're afraid of something. They're afraid of me breaching the fandom for some reason. Maybe this is my chance.
to cross over.
Exactly. Maybe it's like they're afraid because then how easy it'll be.
Yeah.
Like we gotta deter him.
That like they think Ultraman, like this again. I'm not speaking as an Ultraman fan myself. I'm not speaking on everybody's behalf, but I'm just saying that maybe there are people out there that enjoy the nicheness of their fandom, and that you introducing Ultraman to more people, you could be expanding the fandom.
I'm exposing
they
them
don't
and
like
ruining it.
they don't like the it's no longer niche anymore.
Yeah.
That's my conspiracy theory right there. And I
They
know
want
it's
their little
stupid.
clubhouse all to themselves where they can just ooze over Ultraman and shame everybody else who wants in.
My favorite
Like
part
poor
of it.
D-Man here.
My favorite part of it is my Japanese viewers who were messaging me and tweeting or whatever, and all of the Japanese viewers were like, I don't really understand why someone would be upset about you talking about Ultraman. I really want you to do it because please, like, they were having the approach where they're like, the more exposure, the better, because that's how the franchise survives. I was like, I think I'm going to take the Japanese guy's side on this one, fellas.
I mean, it's like, I like Ultraman. I would like nothing more than my other friends to enjoy Ultraman. There's a lot to enjoy.
And here's another big issue is I started at the start, technically I didn't start at the start because I didn't start with Q, but I started with Ultraman.
Right.
And
Did
Ultraman.
you
isn't
start with the
fandom
Ultraman
favorite.
live show though, Derek?
I did.
Oh
That's
yeah,
what
the
I did.
the birth of Ultraman.
I watched the birth of Ultraman. I did. I had a blast watching it yesterday. In fact.
You're a better Ultraman fan than me because I haven't seen the birth of Ultraman.
Didn't we watch it at G-Fest?
It is a lot of
Oh
fun.
right, I think maybe.
It's the black and white live show where there's like a little chubby guy in glasses shouting like, "Look, it's Ultraman! Isn't he cool, kids?"
And he
Walked
plays
out the door
Subaraya. He plays
it's
Subaraya.
awesome.
And then at the end, the real Subaraya shows up.
Is in the
He's like,
crowd
I am
or
the real
something?
Yeah, he's in the crowd. It's awesome. Yeah, I started at the start, and I've been told that's a no-no. I was supposed to start with either 7, Orb, or Nexus, I think. Like, those are the ones that people are like, how dare you not start with those?
Good lord.
I guess like Ultra 7. So Ultra 7.
Well, as if there's some weird complexity to it, like it's Star Trek: The Next Generation or something.
well,
It's
this is-
Ultraman. Start anywhere.
It's like Power Rangers. They're all their own individual shows, really.
Yeah.
This is what my brother and I were talking about, where it was like, if you were getting... For instance, say someone had never seen Star Trek before, and then they went and watched the original series, and they were starting to watch that, and then some gatekeeper fan came up and was like, can you name every episode that features an appearance of the Borg? And of course they're not going to be able to do that. That is exactly what I was dealing with, where they were like, what's your opinions on blah, 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 the character from this Ultraman show? Can you name it? I legitimately, unironically had someone do the meme where they said, oh, you're an Ultraman fan? Name every Ultra. I was like, how? I don't understand.
Yeah. I with that thing your brother and you talked about with Star Trek is exactly my situation, because I got into that show through the movies. And I've watched at this point all of the original series, and I haven't seen and I've watched some of Voyager too, but I haven't seen hardly any of Next Generation. And I actually joined a Facebook group of Trekkie fans, and was immediately met with, I sort of put the question out there, because I am a novice, and I hear it's best to start, maybe in a couple seasons in with the Next Generation, and everybody jumped all over me, and I immediately left. It was like really, really out of nowhere. And like that same exact feeling of people being, you'd think they would want more people, you'd think they'd want it to be more mainstream. But I think there's an element of that where it's like they think so it's this weird sort of special feeling that they get knowing that they're of like an elite group or something that knows everything there is to know about these very niche shows. So, that's stupid.
I'm not
in
going
a
to
roundabout
claim
way.
to not understand it. Like, I get it. For instance, you know, I am a very Godzilla-oriented YouTube channel. So then when I see other
right.
YouTube channels, and I won't name any names, but when I see other YouTube channels who are like traditionally comic book YouTubers or like Star Wars or dinosaurs specifically, there's a lot of dinosaur ones, and then all of a sudden they just start covering Godzilla, and it's very clearly they're only covering Godzilla because Godzilla's gonna be trendy for them.
Right, to ride coattails.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
I completely understand the sentiment of that, but to not even give them the chance, to not even allow them the opportunity to try and get into the Godzilla fandom, like, what is
Right.
that? If I were to go there and like make rants like, this guy made a Godzilla video, but he's not all that big of a fan. He's only seen 2 movies. What am I doing? I'm just trying to make it so that he never sees the movies. What if this guy winds up being like the biggest fan? You don't know. I just
Right.
whatever.
Yeah, basically just let YouTubers make whatever they want to make. With it, like how it turns out, that's up to them. That's on them.
Right.
Yeah, and it's not totally out of left field. It's related to the content you usually put out. And you admit that you're just getting into it. I don't understand the whole pushback that you've been getting.
Here's an example that's gone really popular. So I follow a Dragon Ball YouTuber by the name of Totally Not Mark, and he does a lot of Dragon Ball.
Is his real name Mark? Because that is cute.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
So he decided to go 100% blind into One Piece. He has never watched One Piece. For decades he's heard about its reputation as like one of the best manga ever, and so he's done a retrospective review covering every single story arc in the manga, doing again going in 100% blind and giving his first, as a newcomer, he's giving in his a review from a newcomer's perspective on every single storyline in the chapter. So like when you watch his Dragon Ball Z stuff, you can tell that he is an experienced, well-versed Dragon Ball fan reviewing Dragon Ball Super, Dragon Ball GT, or just doing writing sort of like video essays on specific Dragon Ball characters. You can tell he's coming in from a experienced point of view. Whereas with his One Piece reviews, you can tell he's a novice at this, but yet he is going in with the same amount of dedication that he would with his Dragon Ball videos. And his One Piece videos have proven to be very popular, him doing this sort of crossover into One Piece, because I guess there's a lot of crossover between the Dragon Ball and One Piece fans, and a lot of the One Piece fans are excited that someone like Totally Not Mark is checking out a series, because for many people going into One Piece has been like a daunting task, because it's just such a huge series that's way too big for many people to get into. But here he is, this one guy who's dedicating himself to doing this, and people are excited to see that. People are like, it's like the One Piece fandom is like welcoming him with open arms, saying like, oh, that's cute. I remember when I used to feel that way when I saw that character. Or, oh, you think this storyline is good? Wait until you see the next storyline.
And that's the way it should be done. Like for the example of the Godzilla, people jumping into Godzilla, it should be like, well, if you like that movie, here's another one you should check out. If you liked Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla, go check out Godzilla vs. Gigan. You'll probably enjoy it as well. You didn't identify my favorite Ultra right in a fan art, and so you can't watch Ultraman, period.
It should be like that with everything, like movies, music, sport. I've seen that with my brothers are sports guys. I'm not a sports guy, but if you're into sports,
you're not.
I'm not I'm not a fanatic for sports. I like some sports, but not, I'm not one of the football people who like paint their bodies and wear clown hair at their games in public.
I never would have imagined that.
I do that in my private life. I don't mix my private life out with I don't need TV exposure where I'm wearing clown noses and hair. But
I'm imagining you at like the beginning of Joker.
Don't imagine me painted up with clown hair, Andres. It's not a pretty image. But no, that should be with everything. I don't see the whole gatekeeping mentality that people have and this elitist mentality. It's just so it's just really pretentious and drives people away from whatever whatever they're trying to get into.
Traditionally, until you do it to me, and then I double down just because
Yeah.
I'll make you mad.
Maybe
Honestly-
I should be harassing D-Man for not being a Gundam fan. Maybe then he'll get into Gundam more.
Yeah.
No, don't do that.
No.
I had a similar but
Hmm?
sort of different experience with Evangelion, where it was
Okay.
a lot more like what you were talking about with that YouTuber, the other YouTuber, where I went in completely blind to Ava, and that was very intentional. I wanted to know as little as possible going into the show.
Right.
And
Yeah.
when I watched the show, I didn't want anything to do with the movies. I didn't want to know about the end
Right.
of Evangelion. I wanted to
Right.
focus on what did I just consume? What is the original show on its own from a newcomer's perspective without knowing what
Right.
comes after? And
Right.
that one, it was nowhere near as bad as Ultraman fandom has been, but it was still like there was a lot of people who were like, how dare you review Evangelion without reviewing or watching the end of Evangelion first?
No.
Like,
It's like
how dare you take it on its own merits?
Right. It was produced as its own standalone
Exactly.
series. It was made to, the end of Evangelion movie was made as a response to when it was all said and done. So yeah, you should see it as its own individual thing.
And the example that I always give is Halloween. If you watch the original Halloween and you know nothing about the sequels, you have to formulate your own opinions on what Michael Myers' motives are. You have to formulate your own interpretation of what happens at the ending of that movie, because the original intent wasn't to know. You weren't supposed to know anything else.
Right.
And so then if someone was going to turn around and be like, how dare you not review this with the rest of the franchise in mind? It doesn't make any sense to do that,
Right. Totally. It's a similar approach I took when I reviewed the Heisei Godzilla films, where it's like I reviewed each movie on its own terms using what I saw from that movie and what came before. So it's like when I was reviewing, I don't know, like Godzilla versus King Ghidorah, it's like it's very vague as to whether or not there is meant to be one Godzilla in this continuity or two Godzillas in this continuity with 54 and 90s version. But of course, people would say, oh, but Destroya said it was, it confirmed that it's two Godzillas. But I was like, but Destroya wasn't made at this point. So it's still left very ambiguous. Even back in Godzilla 84, it's left super ambiguous as to whether or not it's 84 is the same monster as 54. It's like, again, I'm going totally off of what this movie presents to me and what was presented beforehand.
Yeah, especially in the case of 85, where it's all but stated that this is the original Godzilla returning.
Exactly. Yeah,
and
yeah.
the title would help lead to that as well, because the return of Godzilla.
Right, and that's like the official...
So that could mean anything.
That's like the official, what was it? It's not the... now we refer to it as Godzilla 1984. Title. Yeah, that's the international title. I'm not sure if that was made by another company or if that was Toho's preferred international title.
Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, it was marketed as The Return, so it's like that pretty much tells you what they're trying to imply here.
Yeah. Yeah, fair enough. Even though that's a case where I've always considered them to be two separate entities, but still, I'm not gonna put you down for thinking that they're for having that interpretation of the film. Like, go for it.
Yeah. And going back to the whole Ultraman thing, this was something that Matt and Burkett and I have talked about a few times here and there on his live streams, where we were talking about the strange sort of segregation between various tokusatsu fandoms, where it's like it's very bizarre, where it seems like the Godzilla fans don't want to cross over to Gamera don't cross over to Ultraman don't
cross over. Why is it gotta be like gang country?
Sentai.
Why is there territorial disputes here?
Super weird. Like, if there's Godzilla and Star Wars, I get it. Star Wars and Star Trek, I get it. But among all this tokusatsu stuff, it's like, it's all tokusatsu. This should be stuff that should appeal to everybody. Like, for me personally, I like Godzilla, I like Sentai, I like Kamen Rider, I like Gamera, I like Ultraman, because all of that stuff, to me, kind of fits in the same wheelbarrow of shit that interests me. So I don't see why it's like, oh, you're a Godzilla fan, therefore you are not allowed to cross over into Ultraman, or you like Ultraman, you're not allowed to get it. You're not unworthy of getting into Kamen Rider or whatever. Are there differences? Absolutely. But hey, that just makes it more interesting that there's a variety of tokusatsu properties out there. And I totally get it if like you're a Godzilla fan, but Kamen Rider doesn't really appeal to you, or vice versa. But it's like, I don't see why people can't cross over into that stuff. It's all the same shit, especially when especially in the case of Ultraman and Godzilla, they were made by the same dude.
Yeah. I was just talking to, I forget who it was, but I was just talking to someone on Twitter, I think yesterday, and he had said, he's like, I always had assumed that the Venn diagram between Godzilla, King Kong, and Ultraman was pretty much just a circle. But now, he's like, now I guess both of us are learning the hard way that is very much not the case. I was like, yeah.
I don't know why it's so hard for people. Just let people like what they like, just let people watch what they watch. It's not like, this isn't like a political matter. It's whatever someone wants to watch in their own free time and enjoy. Just let people enjoy the things they enjoy.
I like the super chat.
It's not like gang. It's not gang country. Like there doesn't have to be. You don't need to carve. Don't carve Ultraman symbols into your forearms.
Yeah,
so you're not allowed here.
Saturn Dusk donated and said, if you really want to mess with the toxic fandom, start doing Doctor Who videos.
Oh,
I can imagine.
Good luck with that one.
I can imagine. Mr. L also said, need entertainment, delay GVK to 2022, have Kong win, and Godzilla vs. Kong, grab the popcorn and relish in the fireworks.
That was another weird one where it's like you're not allowed to support King Kong, even though he's
It's can I just point out also it's a freaking movie.
Yeah, for real.
People are just silly gooses, and you need to stop being silly gooses.
Especially like those people who are like, "How is Kong get so big?" It's like he's a fictional character; he just grows big.
Yes. Yeah.
Or I like none loves me super chat. I like funny lizard.
I like when funny lizard and big monkey punch each other in face and things explode. I just want to see that. Is that all? Is it a bipartisan issue where I have to be alienated and state my point plainly why I think one is better than the other? Does it really matter that much? Is the big question. That always confuses me. Like why people take it that seriously. Like I don't know what they're on about. Like I don't understand when it comes to the King Kong and Godzilla thing in particular, especially. Why is Derek getting booed in front of a live rowdy audience?
Look, here's the thing: is my life is so tethered to Godzilla. I wake up Godzilla. I go to sleep Godzilla. I eat and breathe Godzilla. I wear Godzilla merchandise almost exclusively. I basically at this point hardly own any non-Godzilla clothing. I play Godzilla music on piano. I make Godzilla videos. I write Godzilla stories. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And I don't even take it that seriously. It's my it's my job at the moment, and I don't even take it that seriously.
Yeah. You know what you should do? You should do, D-Man. You should be getting more involved with Draco Zool stuff instead of Godzilla. If you ever need some variety in your life.
When you said I wake up Godzilla, all I'm picturing is that was it from Zone Fighter where he's waking up and like stretching coming out of his house in the morning, his little cave.
Yes.
Door opening. Yeah. I get up Godzilla. I have breakfast Godzilla.
I was more of thinking of the triggered girl who, back in the day, if you remember, who had that little video where she's like, I wake up and I'm triggered. I go to the bathroom and I'm triggered. I brush my teeth and I'm triggered.
I like James Varella's comment. Kaiju Noir speaks the truth. Just let people enjoy what they want. It's not the Wild West, although people certainly treat it like so.
The Wild West, if you will.
Woo! Ha-ha!
Yeah.
Godzilla 154 says that there is hardly any crossover between the super fans of each franchise. Yeah, there are a lot of Godzilla and Ultraman fans, but for the super fans, there isn't that much of a crossover. That still confounds me. Admiral Akbar says, people can like what I like, but they also cannot disagree with me.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh, earlier someone had commented in the chat and asked who was the third person D-Man and Monster Island buddies were talking to because they didn't know who Andres was.
Yes.
And when you just did your little Admiral Akbar impression, that's like the most spot on Monster Island buddies or Rodan impression that I've heard in my life.
Really? Okay, I've never.
Andres pulls surprising impressions out of his back pocket unintentionally from now and then.
That was like so spot on that I'm not convinced he didn't voice Rodan and Monster Island buddies.
Oh my god!
You've been working freelance this whole time, Andres. You've been Alan Smithy in the credits of Monster Island.
Oh my god!
Yeah. It's true.
That was funny. Yeah, I did saw that comment where it was like D-Man's talking to Monster Island. I didn't know. I think it was Monstrosities and Professor Kaiju, but then they realized it's not Professor Kaiju and it's not Monstrosities.
We aren't Professor Kaiju and Monstrosities, Andres. Is that what you're telling us?
If I was Professor Kaiju, you would have already heard me talk about Gridman or talk about stuff that I've heard of but never seen. But instead, we're talking about stuff we've definitely seen.
Ooh.
I'm sorry, Bryce. I love you.
I don't know any monstrosity quirks. What is a quote that he has? And I'll say it, and I'll pretend to be him.
You gotta bring up the Greasy Strangler like 20 times.
The Greasy Strangler is pretty neat. I don't know. I can't do it. I'm working on the Matt.
That's how he opens all of his videos. He says that at the start of every video. It's like, hey guys, and today we're going to be talking about Godzilla, whatever, and also
the Greasy Strangler.
Greasy Strangler.
Oh,
that was my nickname in high school, the Greasy Strangler. I was a promiscuous grease eater and strangler, apparently.
Oh god, are we gonna bring the Greasy Strangler into your live streams from now on, D-Man?
Oh,
apparently.
No. God, that movie broke me, man.
It's a real movie. I've seen images. I've
seen all the images. I've seen it in motion.
You've seen the images and motions. Don't soil D-Man's live streams with the grease.
Bullshit artist.
God.
The thing is, you don't understand that reference, but I do because I've seen the Greasy Strangler.
I don't want to see it. You've talked me out of seeing it. I had no interest in seeing it in the beginning, and now I even have less interest in seeing it.
It's essentially a modern day John Waters film.
It came out in 2016.
Yes, someone in 2016 thought it was great to do their own take on Pink Flamingo.
Don't soil the good gosh darn name of John Waters with Pink. He makes high art trash. This Greasy Strangler thing. It's I don't know. It seems a little silly. I gotta say, maybe a little amateurish.
Jonesy Cat brought in a Kaiju Noir reference. Can someone get Andres to say, fucking Carol Baskins? There you go.
Yeah. Can we talk, though? I asked you a little bit about it before we started, Derek. Can we talk about your fly thing now? And then by your fly thing, I mean your fly fan film.
Oh, God.
No? Okay.
I made the
you
mistake
sound defeated.
I made the mistake of looking into the Greasy Strangler.
Oh no!
I love this comment here. What was it? G Fan 2000. It's like D-Man wants to die right now.
I made the mistake of I was like, what is this man standing in a tunnel naked for? And once I clicked on that image, it all went downhill.
He's contemplating as to why he himself is naked standing in a tunnel. What is the move? What can you just give us on? And this will be the last of it, please. Just give us like a couple sentence synopsis of what that is.
So the title is exactly what it says. Okay, the movie is exactly what the title implies. It's a greasy dude who likes to strangle people. And there's a love triangle involved.
He's a very, very greasy dude, though. It's not just like he didn't shower
nothing
in
but
3
grease.
days kind of grease. It's like he looks like the Fly himself if he was made of grease.
Right. He's just like pounds upon pounds of grease. which apparently,
I'm imagining the end of the David Cronenberg Fly now, where it's just a man
just a
who's just nothing but grease.
monster
And he
fall out
like
of
just instead of shooting him in the head, he like dips a French fry in him or something.
or like it's like Jeff Goldblum, his skin starts peeling away and breaking off, and there's just grease underneath.
Oh.
He's got the pimples and he pops them and it's just like endless grease coming out.
Grease.
That's grotesque.
Admiral Akbar says, "You can't stop me from looking it up."
Have fun.
Don't do it, Admiral.
Do
Don't
it.
do
I
it.
dare you.
And remember, the only reason why I know about this
it's a trap, Admiral. Don't look it up.
and the only reason why I know about this movie's existence is because of Matt Burkett from Monstrosity. So if you're upset, if you want to blame someone blame him. That's his favorite movie, apparently.
His favorite movie, huh?
The way he talks about it might as well be his favorite movie. And you can learn all about the Greasy Strangler in not the next episode of Fully Endorsed, which is on my channel, Kaiju Noir. Our next upcoming episode will be about the Bruce Lee film Enter the Dragon. Afterwards, we'll bring on Matt himself.
Then you enter the Greasy Strangler with the second episode.
Exactly. Yes.
What episode did you invite me onto? What was that?
We haven't invited you yet, but we actually I guess is for spoiler alert, we do want you to be our third guest, D-Man.
Did you not text me what did you text me about?
I don't know. I think maybe I texted you. It's like, would you like to be a guest on the show in the future?
What? Am I totally thinking of the wrong person? Didn't you text me and say, like, can you hop on and watch something with us tonight?
Oh, okay, yes, okay. That text. Okay, so after the Greasy Strangler episode, our next episode will be about a Mexican wrestler horror.
Oh, don't enforce that on D-Man too. What's wrong with you, Andres?
Well, hey,
I watched that movie. Based on your recommendation.
There is nothing wrong with Las Momias de Guanajuato, okay? That is like a piece of Mexican culture right there.
Mexican culture.
Mexican culture.
It's a part of Mexican culture right there. It stars 3 of the greatest heroes who have ever lived.
Hey, I love El Santo and Mil Mascaras as much as the next guy. Blue Demon, But what was the American term that I used for the title card and you got low key salty about?
The Mummies of Guanajuato.
The mummies, yeah. I used the mummies instead of the Spanish.
Las momias.
Yes, I'm sorry. I should have used the original language.
It's all right. It's no problem.
But no, don't make him watch that now. Come on.
It's fun. It's fun. It's pure campy Batman 66-esque.
But you
fun.
see, then he's gonna be forced to make videos exploring the Mexican wrestler adventure film genre. Then they're gonna lash out about him not knowing other movie.
I can tell you that it's like a lot of Mexicans who are like, if you don't know 100% about stuff they like, they will turn on you quickly. Especially when it comes like with Spanish, especially where it's like if I try to talk to someone and my Spanish isn't like 100% like on the spot, they will mock the shit out of me for that. It's like what James Olmos said in the movie Selena. It's like you got to be like twice as good as English for the Americans. You got to be twice as good for being Spanish for the Mexicans. Like being Mexican American, it's exhausting. You got to be twice as good on both sides.
So that was the movie though. You were going to invite this poor boy to.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
We were gonna invite him to Dylan and I's watching screening.
He texted me 15 minutes before they're about to do it, and he's like, "Hey, do you want to watch this movie with us?" And I'm like, "I don't even know what that is. I've never heard of this in my life." I figured it was gonna be something like, "Hey, we found this Reptilicus-esque cheesy monster movie. Do you want to watch it with us?" Because that's like the only kind of film I watch. But instead. Yeah.
You don't watch Mexican wrestler action adventure
I'm
horror
sorry.
movies?
I haven't. Look, I'm working up to it.
Hey, man. Like, you know what? I don't blame me for wanting to share some of my cultural heritage with you, okay?
What are you going to show him Mexican Santa Claus next? Yeah, and this is more of my culture.
Why not?
Is that a good representation? Okay, I'm not going to...
I don't know.
But there's that's a whole different world though. Of there are tons of those movies.
Curling King is like, the fuck stream is this?
I know,
It's
that's what
a
everybody's
stream that's
saying.
off the rails.
It says, well, if you look at the stream, it says not G-Fest. So obviously,
It's
we're
not
talking-
G-Fest.
It's not G-Fest.
I like this one that it hits close to home. It says, "This took a turn. Like that time they brought up Godzilla sex toys on the SOS."
Yeah.
So
I think that
every
was David's
episode of the
fault.
SOS.
I was gonna say that's just every episode.
Which one?
Mr. L says, I'm Hispanic and I don't even know Spanish. I know how you feel, Mr. L. My Spanish is shit.
But what you lack in Spanish, you make up for in Japanese, right?
Actually, the weird thing is, like, my Japanese is perhaps on the level of my Spanish.
That's what I was
except
gonna ask.
my comprehension skills is definitely more on the side of Spanish than with Japanese. Like with Spanish, I can definitely understand more words than not understand them. Like I can't bring myself to remember those words, but when I hear them, I automatically recognize them due to, I guess, my upbringing. But with Japanese, there's still so much stuff that I cannot recognize just by hearing alone. But I guess it's gotten to that point where it's like I can pick up on a few words here and there to at least understand the direction or the general vibe of a conversation, and like the general topic of said conversation, if it's at least on a casual level. Like when I was watching Akira on the big screen, because they've been, just like in America, they've been re-releasing old movies in Japanese movie theaters. When I saw Akira, it was I can understand it, like the general vibe of Tetsuo and Kaneda and their group of friends, circle of friends. But whenever they got into like the political stuff and sci-fi stuff, all of that just flew over my head.
I thought I was really cool the other day. I watched the trailer for Ultraman Anime Season 2.
Mm-hmm.
And get this, guys, I understood one whole phrase. Are you proud of me or what? There's like one chick that falls down from the sky and says something like "Dozo yoroshiku." And I was like, I know what she said generally, sort of.
Does that mean, oh my god, I'm falling from the sky, please
That's
help?
exactly what that means.
Okay.
It's a cry for terror.
I forgot my parachute. I don't know.
It's one of the first things they teach you on Rosetta Stone for a reason, because that's a common occurrence in Japan.
Yeah, people falling from it's the beginning of Kong Skull Island every day.
Every
People
single
are,
time.
I bet you know this phrase, Tasukete! Tasukete! You hear that a lot in Ultraman and Godzilla and stuff.
I actually don't know that phrase.
Really? Okay. Are you watching Ultraman dubbed or subbed?
I'm watching it subbed.
Okay, you're gonna hear. Pay attention to the civilians running and screaming. You're gonna hear "Tasukete" a lot, which means "help me" or "help."
That's what I'll be saying while I fall from the sky. Right after.
Or when the next Ultra Brigade comes in to raid the comments of your next Ultraman.
Exactly.
Jonesy Cat 79 says, Chapulín Colorado, anyone? Yes! I know who that is, but I'm going to pull a Professor Kaiju.
Charlie Chaplin, Colorado? What?
Yeah, I made a show called Never Cloudy in Colorado, so I pretty much know what he's talking about.
That's okay.
So Chapulín Colorado, he was portrayed by a super famous Mexican comedian actor. He was essentially like the Robin Williams of Mexico, and he had this character named Chapulín Colorado, and he's essentially like a goofy superhero. As far as I know, he doesn't have any real powers, but it's like a comedy series, and it's like super famous and well known in Mexico. So I know about it through my parents. They watched the shit out of that, but unfortunately, so it's like I have like secondhand information from it, but I never directly watched Chapulín Colorado.
Yeah, well, we had Dudley Do-Right, so keep that. All right. He was the fairest Mountie of all.
Oh no.
Yeah, but no, I was assuming it was like a Charlie Chaplin Colorado thing, and I was gonna say if you do more episodes, the next season of Never Cloudy, Derek, do a silent episode, like with.
Okay, get this. What if I have the facial hair currently? So what if we
don't do the mustache? No. That's good. Are you gonna go to conventions with the mustache too?
Yeah.
That probably wouldn't be a good thing.
You're like, what's the matter, guys? It was just
This has seemed normal to me. I'm bringing
I was
it back.
celebrating a comic icon. What are you talking
That's
about?
right. Charlie Chaplin, Oliver Hardy, they made it cool, and then some other guy, I don't know, kind of ruined it for everybody after that.
Don't let
Mr.
one
Taco
guy
had that
spoil
mustache.
everything for. He did. He sure did.
Yeah.
I remember. Oh, Corn Job, you're Hitler.
Oh yeah, Corn Job and Jiger had that episode. That actor, I don't know that man's name, but I saw a picture some guy posted on him in one of the Facebook groups. I don't know if it was a recent photo, but from the last 10 years, and he was still alive and he still looked like himself and really plucky and stuff. But my point being, he sported that mustache. Yeah, there's always one guy that comes along that ruins the good thing for everybody.
Don't
Remember
let
when
one guy ruin everything? for
J. Jonah
everybody.
Jameson had that mustache
Yeah.
in the comics. didn't he?
Michael Jordan at one point had the mustache.
Oh, well, there you have it.
Well,
Well, didn't he have it
odd
from
one.
like? Didn't he like? Wasn't he the milk mascot? Didn't he do like a lot of milk?
I think
commercials?
so. Yeah.
He's a little Hitler milk mustache. That'd be funny.
Oh boy.
yeah.
Ooh-wee.
Anywho,
I gotta. Okay, first of all, Andres, before we continue, you gotta read Admiral Akbar's most recent comment.
Oh, okay. I know what you're
What
talking
the fuck
about.
is that? A greasy strangler. I seriously looked up the greasy strangler, and he looked like he has keloid scars and then was dipped in honey.
Let's see. And there's also a question. G Godzilla 154 has a question aimed at me. Andres, are you keeping up with Ultraman Z? No, I just haven't had the time, unfortunately. And also,
is that the new series?
Yeah, that's the new series. He is the grandson of Ultra 7.
Nepotism, man, is always the son of or the cousin of.
The last year's Ultraman, he was the son of Ultraman Taro.
Oh. Can't they just make up somebody new? Why is it a generational thing?
I think that's the thing. What they're trying to do is like primarily children watch Ultraman only, but occasionally, like if you were to ever watch any footage of like Ultraman live shows or stage shows, you'll hear tons of children screaming. It's like, yeah! And so it's like they often bring in a lot
Slice
of
his head off. Yeah. I like it when the blood explodes.
They often try to bring in the past Ultraman a lot. They like lean in heavily into the nostalgic older Ultraman and Ultra Monsters, mainly to bring in the parents and grandparents, so that even though it's primarily aimed at kids, they throw in these characters that are like 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years old, mainly so that the kids and the parents and grandparents that watch it with them can enjoy it as well. Like, oh, that's my Ultraman. Like recently there was like I forgot, it was Ultraman Jeed. Ultraman Jeed was the main Ultraman from 2 years ago. And there was a live show I saw footage on YouTube of, and it was Ultraman Jeed teaming up with the 90s Ultramen. And so it's like, oh, that's obviously, no, these 90s Ultramen, they're from like 20, 30 years ago. So now you have these parents who are now old enough with their kids. So I'm sure it'll be a good time for the kids and the parents to watch the newest Ultraman teaming up with their parents' Ultraman. And so it's always been a very cross-generational franchise that they're always, unlike like Super Sentai, where they only really bring in nostalgic characters during like anniversary movies or anniversary specials, Ultraman is constantly throwing nostalgia at you, for better or worse. Especially
so it's like Star Wars.
Yeah, kind of, yeah. Well, I'd say it's doing a better job at appealing to everybody than
I was gonna say
nobody.
Having the grandson of an established character who we know probably had kids is a lot better than being the granddaughter of a character who we know didn't have kids.
Right.
Or hope to God didn't have kids because we never wanted to freaking picture that ever.
Well, lucky for you, Brayton. According to the novelization, he didn't have kids. It was a clone,
It was a clone
kid
that banged someone.
I'm sorry.
He had a
Good for that
clone.
clone.
Strangely looked nothing like him.
Right.
Okay.
Sure. Remember, like during our Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom review, Brayden, how we were making
where
jokes
we all give ourselves an aneurysm trying to make sense of the movie. I remember that part.
Besides that part, we were talking about like, oh, if you want to know this, you got to buy the
the sequel to the prequel to the comic,
prequel to the book to the tie-in. You got to find all that information. That's exactly like the Rise of Skywalker became a parody of that parody joke we made.
Yeah, there are those rumors floating around now that I don't believe, because I can't believe they would waste that money. But it's just so mismanaged that it wouldn't surprise me that they're going to was it
Right.
Kathleen Kennedy is going to be stepping down soon, and they're going
and they're going to retcon the entire sequel trilogy, leaving
what
all
a
that.
freaking, yeah, let's hope
It's a waste of time. The last 5 years have been a complete waste of time and money.
Yeah,
and talent, because now none of the main people are probably never going to come back, especially or
John
can't
Boyega.
come back.
Yeah.
I was mainly referring to
the people
Carrie Fisher.
Why can't she come back, Andres? And why not? They brought her
You have
back in the
something
Rise of
against women,
Skywalker.
Andres?
right.
You don't want
Yeah.
women back in the franchise?
That's what I'm
I
getting
don't.
from
I
this.
don't. I just don't want dead women to come
Carrie
back.
Fisher is a very talented corpse. I'll have you know, Andre. She's versatile. She was in the Rise of Skywalker. I don't know if you watched the movie, but she was there in the flesh. I believed it, and it fits.
Also the things like
Thank God Ed Wood had a chiropractor that they could put a wig on and say it looks like her to me. That's spot on.
from behind.
Yeah. She just covers her face with her cloak, her cape, and it's very, very believable.
You got some,
but yeah, at least Ultraman hasn't gotten to that point, because that would just be too much.
I think you mean
Admiral
awesome.
Yeah.
Admiral Akbar, what's wrong with dead women? Especially when I worked alongside one.
If they retcon everything and bring Admiral Akbar back, then I'd be okay, because that was a shame.
Just retcon the whole thing, and then the new sequel trilogy is just about him. We don't even see the original characters.
The side adventures of Admiral Akbar.
I love how they killed off Admiral Akbar just to replace him with another Mon Calamari member of the species that looks just like him, but like slightly different.
Well, isn't that the weird?
Yeah, sorry.
Isn't that the weird marketing thing where, like, if we kill off the old characters and make our new characters, we don't have to pay Uncle George anything. So let's
exactly, yeah, because he still gets royalties for any characters that they still utilize.
Yeah, so just
according to
murder the
sources.
fish. So just murder the fish man and make a new one. And
The new one.
Yeah.
Jonesy Cat says that's his son, Andres.
I have no son.
It's turning into Nixon now, Andre.
Yeah, it really did.
With the little.
I'm not a crook.
No, but you need to get to the point though with Draco Azul where you're doing live shows like Ultraman and kids are going wild in the audience. And I want to be playing you on stage. I want to be playing Andres Perez, and I'm doing like the thing where I'm walking around like on like my knees like Mel Brooks in Spaceballs, and I'm like, this is Draco Azul, and then you're in the audience. No, I'm Andres Perez. Whoa,
I'm Andres.
Well, the real Andres. It's just all of us. It's all of us dressed as you, and
I'm Andres. No, I'm Andres. I'm Andres.
Yeah. Personally, I think I would be believable in the part, and I wouldn't get any public backlash from playing you.
Oh yeah. Just a white man portraying a person of color. Yeah, that's gonna go smoothly at all. You know what? That's the thing. If I were to ever given the whole recent controversy with with white voice actors portraying non-white characters. It's like I would love nothing more than to have like Christopher Daniel Barnes do the voice of Eric Martinez, the protagonist of Draco Azul. And I know, like, because that's the voice I always imagined when I wrote the character. But I can bet you, like, there's gonna be somebody out there who's gonna be upset at that.
Yeah. Even though it was your call to make.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, yeah, it's a complicated situation.
What do you think? Andres gets to speak on behalf of all of them?
No, I can't. Yeah, I cannot speak on behalf of everyone. And I know it's a very delicate.
You think Andres gets to speak on behalf of every American Mexican in Japan? I don't think so.
No,
not on my watch.
I am no one special.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you're special to us.
Thank you.
This stream is something special. That's for sure.
This stream is special.
Yes, it is. Was earlier before someone had a request Let's see.
Hey, Andres, can you do a Mr. Crab impersonation?
Oh, that was awful.
I
That
love
was,
money.
that was okay. That was pretty good. Now do Mr. Krabs. What's his name? Oh my God, I'm blanking on the actor. Oh my God, who's the voice of Mr. Krabs, Andres?
I'll check.
Oh my
while
God,
since I've
he's a
watched
wonderful
SpongeBob.
actor. He was in this Shawshank Redemption, is what I'm trying to think
Clancy
of.
Brown.
Clancy Brown, yes. Do Clancy Brown in Shawshank Redemption, where he's like, "All right, you sons of bitches, lights out."
I don't remember him at all. It's been a while since I've seen Shawshank Redemption, so I mainly remember like just the main Andy Dufresne. Was it Andy Dufresne?
Andy Dufresne, yes.
Dufresne and Morgan Freeman's character.
Yeah, well,
Get busy living on, get busy dying.
yeah, it's a Shawshank
more
Redemption. That's a damn good movie. I hadn't watched it in quite a while. I'm a Stephen King
a
fan, so
beautiful movie.
I had read the Rita Hayworth in the Shawshank Redemption, which is the novella that it's based off of, and then we had to rewatch it again for film class, and it is very it's one of those movies that leave my mind like after I have seen it, but I know that I enjoyed it. And then when I go back and watch it again, I love it all over again.
To correct James Varela, I'm not. I wasn't born in Japan. I just live in Japan. I was born in Southern California.
It's a complicated issue. Andres is a complicated man. He's a Mexican who was born in San Diego, then moved to Japan. And is now teaching English to Japanese students.
Right. And I can barely speak Spanish to save my life.
Yeah. You're culturally confused, Andres. You're all over the map.
I guess you can say that. Yes, I'm a culturally confused individual. I don't know. It's like, what am I?
Where do I belong?
What am I? It's like from Neil Breen. What am I?
Who am
I?
Yeah. But no, I would personally be offended though, going back to if you casted Christopher Daniel Barnes as your character, because
especially when it
would be offensive to me. Yes,
I already promised you to do that. Let's see, to answer Zaid's question, what's in Japan?
That's a cool name, Zaid. That sounds like a Teen Titans villain. I don't like that. Slade.
Zaid Nahaz. I probably mispronounced.
Well, that's not as cool.
Sorry.
You should just go by Zaid.
Zaid. I live in Gifu City, within Gifu Prefecture in Japan.
Now, why there, Andres?
Because that was the job that was offered to me.
Okay.
by my good friend from high school.
Okay.
Because he came here first. Oh, okay. So what happened was, so to put in as short as possible, my university has what do you call it? A partnership, foreign exchange student partnership with Gifu University, and that's how my friend came to Japan initially. And then when he graduated, he moved back to Gifu because he was already familiar with the place, got a job here, and then invited me here after I graduated.
Okay.
So that's why it's specifically well. That's why I'm in this random city in the middle of the countryside of Japan.
Yeah.
But hey, I would say, having been to Tokyo and Osaka a few times, I definitely prefer the countryside more than like the busy nature of like the big westernized cities. I feel like I get a real sense of real Japan compared to Tokyo, because it's like Tokyo compared to like the westernized cities, like Tokyo compared to everywhere else, it's like night and day, really.
Yeah, I'd always want to visit. You, Derek, you ever want to go to Japan? Ever stop by, say hello?
Time. Every day.
I
think when I graduate college, that'll be the first trip I take.
Yeah, that it's definitely like having brought my family over on two occasions now. It's like been an amazing experience for them, and even like for Matt Burkett has come here like 4 times now, and like he has had a great time each time, and it's like I would definitely love for you, D-Man, to come over, or for Brain, but it's like it sucks so much that like due to the coronavirus, there's like just major like travel restrictions, so it's very difficult for people to like go anywhere now. It's like. This is like my last year in Japan, and so it's really unfortunate that that like
this all happened.
This all happened, like, so like my friends can't visit me, or I can't see my friends in Japan during my last year here. Although I would be interested, if my friends were interested in going to Japan as a group, I would totally be down for that.
Yeah, it'd be nice to visit there. I wouldn't want to live there. It'd be nice to visit there, though. From what you've told me about the cultural thing,
Yeah.
I think I would kind of stick out. Then again, the pictures that you've shown me of that one person just strolling the streets dressed as
cross-dressing, right?
Yeah, I guess there are some wacky wild people there that I could fit in somewhere.
You'll only see those wacky people in a place like Tokyo, not so much at all.
Well, see, now that's I'm not a big city person, so I guess I would be a misfit. I'd be like Hermie the elf,
Like,
and I wouldn't.
Tokyo is like the land of misfits, I think.
Okay. Well, isn't California in a way like the land of misfits in the United States? Aren't both of you Derek? You're a Californian, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you guys are you're both mutually Californians. There's a lot more wacky individualistic
hold
people
on.
out there.
I'm not by birth though. I don't associate.
Oh. Okay.
You lost touch with your roots, D-man.
I'm a cowboy at heart, damn it.
I'm a cowboy on a steel horse I ride.
I'm on it.
Dead
By the
or
Ultraman
alive.
fans.
By the Ultraman
I
fans.
just
the
watched.
Ultraman
I just watched. The greatest movie ever made, Scooby-Doo 2, last night. And when that song kicks on at the end, it's pretty badass. I gotta say.
I don't remember that ever being in Scooby-Doo 2
That's
Monsters Unleashed.
Okay, it's when Fred. Gets
I went
on,
to see that movie in the theaters.
Me
That
too.
was yeah.
Fred gets on his motorcycle, right? And he zooms
Yeah.
around, and there's the big night ghost on his horse, and then they joust, and Fred's on a motorcycle, and that's the song that plays.
Oh,
I think the only thing I remember from that movie was there was a cotton candy monster, and then Shaggy and Scoob murdered the shit out of him by eating
Yeah, they
him.
eat him. They sure do.
Like Zoink Scoob.
Oh, here he goes. Here he goes on his Scooby-Doo routine again. No, okay. So you guys reside. Derek still resides in California. Andres, you were born and bred in California, yes?
Yes,
Born and
put
bred.
it that way.
Created in a scientific lab in California. But yeah, so you guys are sort of used to that sort of I don't know, environment of people being a little more, because where I live,
It's
I live
just
in
like
Iowa.
living in a TikTok video, really.
Okay, yeah. See, where I live, it's like living in a depressing William Faulkner novel or something. Like it's just wheat fields and
Right.
people in flannel. And
I've seen pictures of the.
I showed you a video of where I live. It looks like Smallville. It's literally
Yes.
Smallville where I live.
But more up north, so it's colder.
It's yeah. It's so yeah, I've never been to I've been to big cities, but I've never been a big city type of person. It always makes me feel anxious. So if I were to come to Japan, I'd probably feel good about keeping to myself in a smaller prefecture like Gifu.
Yeah,
Rather than
that's
surrounded
pretty
by wacky anime characters and
occasional giant monster attacks.
yeah,
weird-
those are
weird
cool in
you-
movies, but I mean in real life, wouldn't that be a nuisance?
Yeah, totally. I mean, you've listened to my recordings. There's all my recordings. Anytime I'm on Skype with someone, there's always a ambulance
An
passing
ambulance?
by.
And they sounded they're the exact ambulances from the
Yes.
movies that make the same siren sounds. There are people
Exactly, yeah.
evacuating the cities. There's a guy in a hard hat waving his hand and pointing in a direction for you to run to.
Yes.
Always.
We
I
had
imagine less of that in California though.
just a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Whenever you go outside though, Derek,
Hello?
because you're so tall.
Oh, okay.
What?
Now I can hear you.
Oh.
Both of you guys were silent for a second there.
I was insulting D-Man's height, even though
No,
we're the same height.
I was hearing something. I was hearing the setup.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There's still that evacuating and panicking whenever D-Man exits his home. but it's-
Okay. yeah.
Because as you stated, you wake up as Godzilla. So
I
whenever
do
you-
wake up as Godzilla.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's a bit of a shock for some people.
It's a cultural difference,
I
that's
do
for sure.
to look at Mr. L's latest super chat. I've lived in Okinawa and visited Tokyo 3 times. Want to go to Japan? 3 words: the Godzilla Hotel. It's definitely a lot of fun. I actually went there. Like I visited the the Godzilla Hotel a few times, but like on the outside. Only the recent time when I was walking around Shinjuku with Matt and his fiance, that I actually was it was the first time I went inside the Godzilla Hotel, and I got to see the Godzilla head like I was right next to it during the hourly like roar sequence.
Nice.
And yeah, it's definitely a lot of fun. There's like a tiny little shop out there, like inside the hotel, but it's selling like the same kind of generic Godzilla merch that you see like pretty much anywhere in Japan that sells Godzilla merch, or at least the Godzilla store. And there is like a large wall of every Godzilla movie poster at the entrance when you check during the entrance lobby or check-in lobby. Other than that, it's like this. It's not like there's a whole lot to see other than the Godzilla head. Even like Matt showed me the hotel room he was staying at. It's like an average, Godzilla, and not it's an average hotel.
And your average Godzilla hotel room.
I mean, it's an average hotel, a Japanese hotel room, so it's like really small and cramped. Like every hotel, I almost said that again. Every hotel room I see in Japan, no matter how expensive it is always super tight and cramped. And it reminds me of whenever my students tell me, like my adult students who go on international business trips, whenever they go to like an American hotel, they're always surprised by how much room there is. It's like, wow, this is almost as big as my apartment.
I don't know. You every time I feel like I wanted to go there at one point, but every time I talk to you, you're like talking me more and more out of going to Japan because I'm claustrophobic and
that's the thing.
cramped little hotel rooms.
Japan is all super small and super cramped.
Yeah. Yeah. See, out here, no buildings practically, and nothing but like flat land. So I can stretch out. I can do my little Sound of Music twirling in the morning, singing in the garden. And I don't have to worry about being like hit by a cab or something or whatever you big city slickers have to deal with out there. So yeah.
For me, I grew up in a suburban landscape.
Oh, okay. You grew up in Comic-Con because you're a San Diego, and so you grew up on the floor of the convention.
Yeah. But I never went to I didn't start going to Comic-Con until 2014, I think.
Oh, really?
No, 2012, 2010, I think. Yeah, 2010 was when I first started attending Comic-Con. And then it was around like 2014. That was the last time I went to Comic-Con, because 2015, it was the same year as G-Fest. And obviously I chose G-Fest. I prioritized G-Fest. And then from 2016 onwards, I've been living in Japan. So there's no way I can go go there.
Yeah, those that gets a lot of traffic though. Derek, you ever been to I know you've been to conventions, obviously. Did you ever been to go to Comic-Con? San Diego Comic-Con?
No, I've not.
No?
I don't really have much interest in it either, because I don't want to go bankrupt for something I can enjoy at home.
I guess it's like if you ever want to go to San Diego, you always stay at my place.
I'm not staying at your place, Andres. I'm going to Comic-Con.
I mean, you to save
money.
Do
you realize what living with me for a few days how much of a nightmare that would be for both of us? I'm a neurotic weirdo who needs like his space to stretch out, and I wouldn't want to bother you. I feel like I would be. I'll sleep in your car for a couple days.
Imagine like I give you my beds and your legs are like over the edge.
I'm like Will Ferrell and Elf. Like everything's too small.
Yes, that's how it'd be like in my Mexican household for you.
Yeah. I just go from bed to bed. This one's too small. This one's too large. This one's just right. And then I eat all your porridge.
and then that's the one that's just right. That happens to be the king size bed my parents sleep in.
Yeah. See, these are the reasons it might not work, but we'll see. Yeah.
Admiral Akbar says, "Give the man his space, Andres."
We have some super chats to catch up on here.
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
None Loves Me commented way long ago regarding his previous comment and said, "I also like Funny Moth, Pterodactyl, and Dragon." So there you go.
What?
You know?
I like Funny Moth, Pterodactyl, and Dragon too.
Me too.
I can get behind this guy.
I never got into the moth. What is it? What is it? Funny moth, pterodactyl dragon.
Funny moth, pterodactyl dragon.
Yeah, I felt kind of alienated by the first season of that. What the hell is he talking about?
We have one from our good friend Kinky Dora asking to please free him from Area 51.
Uh-oh.
Oh, sorry, you missed your chance a year ago.
Yeah, that's kind of come and gone. Yeah, everybody sort of went there and then left.
Everybody Naruto ran towards the Area 51, and then everyone Naruto ran their way out of there.
Yeah, immediately back out.
Mm-hmm. It was a disappointment of an event.
Send more money, though.
Yes, if you send more money, maybe I can free you.
Consider it, yeah.
Donate $1,000 and D-Man will go to Area 51.
D-Man will personally march up to the gates of Area 51 and try his best.
I will demand Kinky Dora. I will say, I know he's in there. He's told me many times.
You're lying.
You're hiding something.
I have a right to know.
My Kinky Dora is in there.
Yes. We have one from Kamal 1994. I don't quite understand what he's asking. He says, "Is there a way I can show you this autograph?" Twitter would be the best way. If you have an autograph, you can tweet me.
Mm-hmm.
An autograph from who?
Yeah, I don't know. It just says this autograph.
Can people also DM the D-Man?
Oh my god. Slip in the D-Man DMs?
You can try, but I do not answer the majority of my DMs.
That's a good idea.
All right.
It is a very good idea.
Yeah.
We have James Varela who says, "I'm already scared for life. Chibi Godzilla man." I have no idea what that's in reference to. Kinky Dora says,
"Help! I'm being tortured in Area 51." This isn't a joke.
Kinky Dora responds to James Varela and says, "Try Gajinka."
I think that might be a response to like when he looked up. I think he's the one that looked up images of the Greasy Strangler, and then it's like, well, if you think that's bad, look up this stuff here.
What is Gajinka? I don't want to blow the reveal, but
it's essentially like you take a non-human character and turn them into a human.
Oh, that crap! The Inshoma stuff that he does on DeviantArt.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it is. Inshoma does Gajinka art.
Oh,
go over to Inshoma's
don't go over to Inshoma's DeviantArt. Why? No. He's got enough. He's got enough attention from the authorities.
Do you remember when that one artist, she made like human style artwork of Godzilla, Ghidorah, Mothra, and Rodan? I'm trying to think.
Didn't somebody ask Michael Dougherty about Gajinkas or something?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I remember when that was a big dumb thing. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It's not. I would say it's like for me, it's less. I see that sort of art is just like completely harmless. It's like, if you want to interpret these characters the way you want to, fine, do that. I'm not sure why people have to had this like over exaggerated like reaction to it. Like it's the worst thing ever. I guess
Andres, you're missing the point, because we can take any kaiju we want and turn them into a sexy nude anime girl. How are you missing the point, man? What kind of Gajinkas are you looking up?
I'm looking at the wholesome kind. Like I'm trying to look up the one that I like. Really, that was from
American What was that dumb thing you and Denny Roth showed me about Godzilla and Mothra? Was that that wasn't a humanoid thing?
Denny Roth drew one. He drew. He drew. What was it? Godzilla, for whatever reason. That hey, more power to him. Denny Roth depicted Godzilla and Mothra as an anime lesbian couple.
Takes all kinds, is what I say. But D-Man's right. When you have that much power, no man should have that much power.
Exactly.
You mean
Sexy
the power?
Jet Jaguar, as Mr. L just points out.
Well, I don't know. Like I'm just saying, if there's one you're gonna make, sexy Jet Jaguar might be at the top of the list.
Probably. But, he's already kind of sexy. So.
I mean, he is. Yeah.
Yeah. Who can resist that charming grin of his?
I know. It started with that smile, that damn smile. No, yeah. That other than that, leave it alone. Leave well enough alone. don't make these things populate our nightmares. Like we don't. Do we really need a sexy Ebra? Does the world need that? Is anybody
now
clamoring
that you
for these
mention
things?
Here's
no.
the thing. Well, it's like not Ebra, but it's like this is something like I feel like D-Man's going to find out about this when he goes deep enough into the rabbit hole. There is an anime spin-off that focuses on Ultraman monsters reinterpreted as like chibi anime girls, and it's called Kaiju Girls.
Review that
Good
next.
stuff. Yeah, that'll be my next big break into the fandom.
Yeah.
Guys, I got some bad news. We don't
Yeah.
have a lot of sexy Ebra to work with here.
Oh
Damn
my
it.
god. Why? If we're gonna have this much power, why not use it responsibly then and give us sexy?
We've got a lot of Mothra, but I'm just
here we
I'm
go,
not
okay.
seeing any Ebra.
So
sexy Kumanga, sexy Amanda.
This is artwork by I believe an American artist / animator. I think she's an animator. She was the lead character designer for DC Superhero Girls. Her name is Kat Hudson, and I honestly really like this art in particular. I'm going to share it with you guys on Skype.
I've seen this before. I've seen this many times before.
Mm.
Yeah, and she's done like follow-up artwork with this interpretation of these characters.
Ghidorah is supposed to be a one entity, right?
Right.
Am I the only
It
one
looks like
who's
a
also
monkey.
questioning that?
Yeah,
I guess from I don't know, maybe from a creative standpoint, maybe she just wanted to differentiate instead as opposed to copy and pasting the same design 3 times. I don't know. It's all art. It's all artistic.
I feel like I'm seeing 2 pouty versions of me and what's her face from iCarly. I don't know. I don't get that
Oh
one.
my god, yeah.
Godzilla and Mothra. That's interesting. Mothra's pretty stylish, I suppose.
Yeah.
Rodan. Okay, I guess the hair works. And his beakish features, maybe, I don't know.
His beakish feature.
This is harmless, but yeah, the Ghidorah being separated like that, and unless they're going for the Dorats.
Look,
you know.
I don't have a problem with Ghidorah being separated. More so that I was just a little confused myself as to the fact that
Why
the
middle one
split
is a girl.
genders.
Yeah.
What does that tell us about when Ghidorah is put together as one? Now we know why the middle head does not like the other 2 heads. It's just a chick being surrounded by 2 dudes the whole time. I don't blame her.
Yep.
I found 2 more of them that showed off more characters.
No, no. Why more?
It's adorable.
What is with you?
They really
no.
do Anger's dirty like that. Dang.
Anguirus is a dog.
My poor guy. Didn't even get. I like Mothra. Like the way Mothra sleeps, like a maggot.
We didn't talk about Biolante,
Wait a minute,
though.
hold on. I just noticed that as well. Look at Gamera as well.
Sassy.
Look at
Yeah.
Gamera.
They turned him. He looks, I guess she looked too far into the gamer in Gamera.
That's how I
man.
picture him. That's about right, I think. Stout little guy. Looks like a white David almost, a white Gorazer.
Oh my god, you're right.
That's pretty shocking.
Not sure why-
Mechagodzilla on his bike.
It's weird. I'm not sure why Mechagodzilla is a bike.
Well, he was a
interesting.
city once. Don't judge him.
It can be anything it wants to be.
Yeah, that's true. I shouldn't judge.
Yeah.
Everyone
He's
in
got-
the chat's
he's
like,
got
what are
dreams.
they seeing images of? Hold on, before we get to this,
Just look up Kat Hudson. Cat with a K.
before we get to this big boy donation, let's talk about we got a shout out for the Woozy Wombat who sent just a random pair blushing. So there you go. We got Bobby Reynolds asking, would it be great if there's a Godzilla movie where Godzilla's from a different dimension met, like Turtles Forever or Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse? I think that'd be a cool comic book. I don't necessarily know if that would make the greatest movie, but I think that'd be a cool comic.
What was the idea?
It's basically Spider-Verse, but with Godzilla. All the Godzillas meet.
Huh. That would be interesting to see,
didn't,
but
didn't Super
Like-
DM and Zanzibar do their what the hell?
The Godzilla gang?
Godzilla Odyssey? Wasn't it called Godzilla Odyssey? Where he like travels to different dimensions and he meets the other
Yes!
Godzillas?
yeah, he didn't finish it, so then he made a series
Yeah.
about what the series would have been, and he didn't finish that either.
I remember.
Yeah.
It was a really good idea. Yeah, the Godzilla Odyssey was a lot of fun, and I think I was involved in the Ultraman episode, and I made it into an Ultraman. I based it off. An
I made a
Ultraman-
title card for that I was really
Yes!
proud of. Whereas like what is it? It's Ashura
Ultra-
Honda and Eiji Tsuburaya like running like panicking from a real life Godzilla they did in one of their issues.
Right, and you made a second one for us. You made the Ultraman episode
The
where it was
Ultraman,
Ultraman, Godzilla, and Gamera surrounded by a Gauss army.
Yeah. No, they had good. Bill had that track record though of having really great ideas and then doing 1 or 2 episodes and then.
Do you remember Bill Wurster's Bad Capella series that only lasted 1 episode?
No, I don't know what that is.
Oh, I remember, man.
Bat Capella. What is it? You like
bad,
sing
bad,
Bad
Capella.
Capella? Okay,
Uh,
I thought he was doing like the Batman soundtrack, but singing it a cappella or something. What is Bad Capella?
The idea was to perform a cappella badly with friends on the internet, and he did the Doctor Who theme with Sid Part 2, and
Okay.
no one was in sync because of the Skype delay, and that was that.
Didn't have the lasting power as Sons of Sarazawa then.
Right.
Bad
Rest
Capella.
in peace,
Yeah.
Sons of Sarazawa.
Zcast, that was another thing that only lasted like 1 or 2 episodes.
Same
Ye-
with
or-
shoot, what was it called? Were you guys-
SOS interview.
What? SOS interview?
We interviewed Chris Mowry and Jacob Baker, the Kaiju maker.
I was thinking, I forget what it was called, but where you guys would get drunk and then do commentaries.
Oh yeah, we did Godzilla's Revenge, I think, and nobody liked it, so we stopped it.
Well, I feel like you guys did that one, but then
You did a couple
They got
more though.
too-
You brought
yeah,
it back.
you guys got
Yeah.
too drunk. I know you didn't, Andres, but
Jingle
No.
All the Way. That was the
Yes,
last one you did where
yes,
Bill
you did.
got hammered by the end of
Yes.
it. I remember
And-
that.
and just the rest of the commentary was just, guys, I'm so drunk, guys, I'm so drunk.
Yeah, I remember this being a thing. I don't know. Podcasts, they seem easy on the surface, but they can get out of hand
Oh, yeah.
pretty
Yeah.
quick.
We can go too far in a few places.
Derek, do you ever start a podcast?
multiple. I've tried many times.
How have they worked out
Okay,
for
I've
you?
tried 3 times.
Well, that's multiple, yeah.
That is multiple. I tried once right around the launch of my channel with some guys, and that one went nowhere. We made it like we did like two or 3 episodes, and each it was not like I think we called it The Majesty of. I know there's at least one of them called The Majesty of. And it was just like each episode we were just like talking about random stuff. So in the first one, we were talking about the first one was very on brand. SOS was all about Rodan Cest, pointing out how in the Showa continuity, the mother and father Rodan are the one who shows up in Ghidorah.
Oh,
They are both born from the same nest, meaning they had to be
right.
brother and sister.
Siblings.
So
Right,
then
right.
that would explain why the Rodan we get from 64 on looks all deformed compared to the original.
Ooh.
Oh my god.
And then we did another
That's pretty
one.
majestic.
Yeah, it was. It sure was. We did another one on Gamera, but every time we were supposed to say Gamera, I would slip in a little Gabra to see if anyone would notice, and eventually they started to notice, and so then the rest of the stream was just talking about Gabra. And then I tried a podcast called Conflict of Interests, which was going to be with my brother and my dad.
Yeah. I just found it right now when I searched podcast on your channel.
Yeah. That's an old one.
Oh,
Around
apparently
the
I'm
same
part of
time.
it.
You're not part
it.
of his family. How are you
Oh
part of
no!
it?
You're part of the
No, no.
podcast. You're part of the podcast.
That's what I meant.
Yes. I think that was just because if I made a video that didn't have any images, I just used to call it a podcast. But yeah, we tried the Conflict of Interest podcast. That had its own channel as well. So there's, I guess, 8 channels. So we had a channel for that one, and then we stopped doing that one because we just didn't have time to record. And then last year, I guess in 2018, from 2018 through half of 2019, my brother, two of my brothers, and then a group of our friends, depending on what episode you were listening to, they switched out. We had an ongoing podcast called the Extremely Low Budget Podcast, which
I like that name.
That one was a banger. We plan on reviving that podcast.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, find one that's find a formula that sticks and keep going with it.
Yeah. Call it the D-cast.
Don't call it the D-cast.
No.
It just rolls off the tongue.
No. But yeah, isn't your guys' production film company called Extremely Low Budget Productions? So yeah, it works.
Yep.
Cool.
All of our films are called Extremely Low Budget Films. All of the podcasts are called That's actually why it's called Extremely Low Budget Productions, because we did call it Extremely Low Budget Films until we started the podcast. And then we were like, well, a podcast's not a film. So we changed the name.
Makes sense.
The ELB podcast.
Yes. I got to give a massive, massive shout out to 2 individuals. Our first is GMK Boy 2001, who hit us with a $100 donation, simply asking,
"Oh my gosh,
do you have a Discord?" I
$100 just to ask that question.
I have a Discord login or whatever. I do not have a Discord server, nor am I a part of any Discord servers. I apologize. I would not be able to manage that. I already fail at managing my own Facebook group, so I don't.
Oh yeah, that's right. You have one.
I still have it. I still pop on there every once in a while. I just was on this week. But I failed. I take like month to 2 month long hiatuses from that, so I can't imagine I'd be any good with the Discord. And then, of course, our boy Kinky Dora hitting us with a $100 donation, simply saying, very elegantly put, Kinky Twinkies.
Oh my god.
Never change, Kinky Dora.
I know. Kinky Dora is just sitting on this dude just like
a pile of disposable
is that what is in Area 51? Kinky Twinkies? There's no aliens.
Twinkies.
There's just a bunch of kinky twinks hidden in the back of Area 51.
The government's like, we cannot let anybody have these Twinkies. They're too kinky for civilization, for mankind's taste buds.
My gosh. Yeah, makes sense.
Bobby Reynolds just donated saying, if I got game-making powers, I have an idea for a monster cinematic universe game, like do a video game mashup. So I think he's just saying like a series of games that leads into one game.
I guess speaking of games, I do want to mention a game project that my buddy Garayan is making called Kaiju Daikason Versus. It's available on itch.io, I believe. And it's totally free to play, free to download, and he'll be adding more and more characters to the roster. And Draco Azul will be a part of that. So yeah, if you're looking for a fun like Godzilla Domination, if you love Godzilla Domination on the Game Boy Advance or like King of the Monsters on the Neo Geo, this is definitely in line with that. It's like a top-down beat-em-up style fighting game. So if you're looking for a new kaiju game, and you're kind of pretty much all done with the PS4 stuff and want something on the more lower budgeted style area, indie area, check out Daikaiju Daikason Versus.
Yeah, no, I don't know anything about video games, but aren't there?
Oh no,
like...
aren't you like the #1 Frogger fan?
Okay, Andres, you gotta keep making fun of me because I play Frogger. Is that where this relationship is gonna go that we've formed? Yes, I like Frogger.
I'm sorry, man.
I like it too. Don't worry, man. I got you back.
Yeah, we enjoy. It's a simple game. Okay, it doesn't require a lot of brain power.
Of course,
and I'm a simple man.
Of course. There's nothing wrong with Frogger. Okay, it's a classic. It's a classic game that has stood the test of time.
Well, okay, I play Frogger,
no sarcasm.
And before all this pandemic stuff went down, a group of my friends from high school, we all got together about once a month to play Mario Kart and Super Mario World. What is it? I think it was the newer version, like the Wii or something like that. So I played that, but that's about it. Anyway, my point being, outside of Godzilla, and I know there's some Ultraman games, there's only like a handful of that stuff giant monster video games, right?
No, I mean, like, let's see. There are tons of Kamen Rider fighting games. There's a few Power Ranger. I guess like there's the latest Power Ranger game, which is called Battle for the Grid. I think Battle for the Grid, which is like a bit on the cheap side, but apparently it's like there's not a whole lot of characters, but they've been adding DLC characters slowly. And if you like Street Fighter or Marvel versus Capcom style fighting games, you may enjoy that. It's on pretty much on every console and PC. I know there was a cheap beat 'em up Power Rangers game that wasn't too good apparently. Yeah, majority of Power Ranger games aside from Battle for the Grid kind of suck. Ultraman, there hasn't been like a really. Oh yeah, there was a really cheap Ultraman game on the Nintendo Switch that was like it looked like garbage. Let's see. I guess like
you should review that too, D-Man.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Every single thing.
Get Ultraman Rebu on the Nintendo Switch.
Even if I went through and reviewed every single Ultraman thing that has ever come out ever, the fan base would still reject me and claim that I was doing it for clout.
Hashtag not a real fan.
He's just faking it.
Fake
Ultra fan.
Fake Ultra fan. But yeah, like aside from like like the only good or memorable Ultraman games that have come out were the Ultraman Fighting Evolution games, but they haven't made a new one in like forever, like 10 years or so. And I guess it's maybe because they're just very cheap, and it's like they'd rather make, I don't know, some cheap mobile game. It's like kind of like movie games, tie-in games. They don't make a whole lot of them anymore. Or it's like, I don't know, it's so strange, like, because there's still a lot of Kamen Rider games, but there's almost nothing out there for Ultraman in the year since the Fighting
weird, because
Evolution
you'd think that show would be like tailor-made for like video gaming.
Right, yeah. Especially when, like, for Kamen Rider, they just put out the same game just with different characters, but they don't really do the same anymore for Ultraman. Yeah, and for Godzilla, there's just the there was Godzilla. What was it? There was that mobile game that came out.
Yeah,
where
Defense
it's like
Force or something.
Right. Apparently, like it gets impossible to play without spending money at a certain point. And then there was like the PS4 game, which take it or leave it. Yeah, that's
Destroy All Monsters Melee was pretty fire, though. As the kids would say back in the day. Yeah.
Yes, it was.
Awesome.
Yeah, as Titan Goji would say, it was pretty litty.
Yeah.
You guys are really staying up to. You guys are really sounding hip right now. Keep it up.
Oh yeah. We're Steve Buscemi in that one meme of him being hello, fellow
Zoomers.
I played. What is it when 2014 came out? There was like this really shitty thing where like you were a one of the divers and you're like you gotta tilt this way. You don't crash into the build. That's like the only recent thing.
You didn't play the one that came out along with that was Candy Crush but Godzilla?
No.
I played the Godzilla Smash 3. I could never get past the first Muto battle because again, it's like you had to spend money to beat it.
Oh my gosh.
I never played that once. I never downloaded it because I hated Candy Crush. That being said, I did play. What was it called? It was like Strike Zone, I think. That was the one where you were the soldier. But I played it on an iPhone 4, and even back in 2014, the iPhone 4 wasn't powerful enough to run that game. So I never made it. I never was able to progress with that game because I would die upon spawning.
Damn.
Let's see. Here we go. I found the link for the link for Godzilla Daikaiju Daikasen, and if you see, I think one person mentioned that there were like, I see Godzilla and 3 anime chicks. Those anime chicks are probably Gorian's characters because he plans to have a story mode that mainly focuses on the original characters and indie creator characters. There is Godzilla, Legendary Godzilla, Shin Godzilla, Kong, and Gamera in the game. But again, the game is free, so it's like he's not going to make profit off of it at all.
Yeah.
So it's like, so he's kind of towing the line when it comes to the legality of putting licensed characters in there. But
exactly,
he's not making.
I like it.
Yeah.
Yes. So he's putting in 4 characters you may know, and then everyone else is either his characters or a lot, or like indie characters like Draco Zul. And
are you gonna play as Draco Azul and beat the crap out of Godzilla Gamera? Is that what you're gonna do?
you bet your goddamn
Mine's
ass I'll
better.
do
Mine's
that.
more powerful.
Yeah. Fuck you, Godzilla. Yeah.
I feel like I have to ask really fast once we read this new super chat from Bobby Reynolds, who says, "Do you prefer DLC or IGB, aka in-game buying?"
What is in-game?
What?
See, okay, what I think he's referring to is like, DLC is like an expansion pack. In-game buying is like, in Fortnite, if I want the Drake skin, I'm gonna have to shell out some dollars for that skin specifically.
You mean microtransactions?
I think that's what he's referring to. Yes.
Okay, I prefer DLCs because that's like, I'd rather just buy a chunk of extra content as opposed to tiny little things here and there. Because I hate microtransactions.
Me too.
I like cheat codes where I can make the traffic slower and I can go across the road quick.
Dude, I know how you feel, man. Oh, sorry. Gurak says, does Kaiju Daikzen have controller support? I believe so, yes. And if you want to know, I believe, like, for the keyboard controllers, I believe that if you follow Garayan's Facebook page, which is Planet G, and as well as he also has another Facebook page for his game stuff, which is called One Secret Pseudo. He does have some... he did drew some like images of what the controls are for keyboard stuff. But yeah, I believe there is controller support. But what were we talking about? Oh yeah, cheat codes. Yeah, I definitely miss cheat codes. I really miss the days.
Do they not have those in games anymore?
No more.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
all that stuff you would get for like cheat codes and unlockables. That's
It's all
like,
DLC, and you got to
DLC.
pay for it now.
Yeah, definitely. And unlocking. Like, I guess, like, I was surprised that Spider-Man, the new PS4 Spider-Man game, has so many alternate costumes that are unlockable as opposed to just DLC. There are DLC costumes, like the Sam Raimi Spidey suit, but it's like the good majority of it is just like classic unlockable stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, apparently, according to Bermakian Productions, GTA still has cheat codes.
Sure does.
They're still making
Grand.
They're still making Grand Theft Auto games.
To be
Yeah,
fair,
they're on-
it's been,
oh my
but
gosh.
the last Grand Theft Auto game came out, I believe, in 2013, so it's been a
Wow.
while.
Yeah,
Oh
they're
my
on.
gosh.
They're currently on 5.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Yeah, I hear about these things through cultural osmosis. I don't know. I'm not up to date on them, but the last one I recall ever hearing about was, what is it? San Andreas? Was that the
Oh.
was that the popular one?
That's the
Back in the day?
PS2 one.
Yeah, that's all I know.
Well, you know what? To be honest,
And
San
whenever I hear that, I think of you, Andres. How does that make you feel? Grand Theft Auto San Andres Perez.
I was like essentially associating me with a 90s hip hop infused era game. It's like, okay,
Well, yeah. Well, yeah. I mean,
that's totally me, right?
you're pretty hip hop.
I'm the hip, the hop, the hip into the hip hop, and don't stop the dropping.
Why do you hang out with old people, Derek? What are you doing? Well,
It's a good question.
yeah, get better friends. Get some cool people.
Friends.
Bobby Reynolds clarifies, saying, in-game buying is unlocking stuff by doing summing in the story model.
Oh,
I don't know
okay.
what that means. Or buying it
So
with
you
point,
earn
like,
points.
Save the Earth.
Right, you earn points in the game, and then you spend those points to unlock the stuff. Okay, yeah, Godzilla Save the Earth did that. Godzilla Unleashed did that. I remember I spent like so many painful hours because like Godzilla Unleashed was an awful game. Like I know people love it.
Yeah, I watch videos of these things, and I do love the zero gravity jumping though. I think that's pretty hilarious.
And the laggy controls and the motion controls in general. I know people love it because it's got the most monsters. For me, all the monsters in the world doesn't mean jack shit if I don't have fun playing.
Make it work right.
Right. So it's like I remember I spent countless painful hours getting enough points to unlock everyone, and then after I unlocked everyone, I found out there was a cheat code to unlock everyone instead. I was like, wow.
Godzilla 154 just said it at the exact same time. He said you spend hours grinding those points only to find out there's a cheat code to unlock everything.
Yeah. I would say I would rather prefer that. As annoying as it is to grind for stuff, even like the new PS4 Godzilla game, you're constantly grinding to get quote unquote kaiju material to unlock those characters. But eventually I did. I unlocked everybody by destroying so many generators.
And Spider-Man is the same way. PS4 Spider-Man, you have to do little challenges or whatever to get your certain things. So.
Right. But it's like I would definitely prefer that. As annoying as in-game buying is, I would rather prefer that than actually spending actual money because I already spend $60 on the game, so I don't really feel like spending that much more on it unless it's like a full-blown like expansion pack.
Could you imagine if movies did that to where like you buy the DVD or whatever and then you have to pay extra for like the special features and the deleted and you can't you gotta unlock the ending to the movie, you gotta pay $5 more.
Blu-ray tried that. Do either of you remember BD Live?
Yes.
Vaguely.
So in the early days of Blu-ray, they had this service called BD Live, which was essentially DLC special features for your Blu-ray discs. And most of the time it was just like extra commentaries, I think, or documentaries. I never tried it at all, but it's like I remember it was being heavily promoted during like the first couple years of the Blu-ray format before it's like it went away with like the digital copies, because then digital copies were replaced by Vudu copies, and Vudu was replaced by some other service. I don't know. It's something that like nobody ever talks about these days. It was like this lost thing. But yeah, there was at one point DLC for Blu-rays, but it was free at least. But God help us if that ever becomes like monetary and comes back full force.
Wouldn't surprise me though. In search of a buck, who knows?
Yeah, like here's the QR code so you can.
they just CGI like erase like a certain actor or character from the movie, and to unlock Vin Diesel in this movie, pay this money, and you'll get him brought back in.
Just every scene where he's supposed to be there is just one of those like black
just invisible, around.
All the dialogue,
it's a big censored bar.
All the dialogue is just a big bleep.
Or like, do you remember like what was it like? There were talks of, you know how like video games would, if there's like a bug or a glitch, they would get patched through an update. And remember when Cats came out, there was an idea that they were gonna patch the movie with a better version to fix the bugs.
They did that. They really did that.
Yeah, there's that we're getting the Snyder cut. Apparently that's gonna fix everything. I'm being sarcastic. There was it worked for Sonic, They
patched that design real good.
Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe it's getting there.
Yeah. Or like what was it like? The Avengers Endgame. There was those scenes. They released an extended cut with unfinished sequences of Shrek looking Hulk.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I would watch that movie. They just replaced the Hulk entirely with Shrek, and got Mike Myers in to do the voice and everything. All right, Dab.
I mix the brains with the brawn.
Yeah,
that Shrek impression is not on point.
I know.
That Shrek impression is after the other impressions. That one leaves something to be desired.
No.
Can you do donkey at least? Hey Shrek, waffles, hey Shrek, yeah.
I love some waffles, Shrek.
Okay, it's better. There are plenty of characters in the Shrek verse you can work on voices for. It's filled to the brim with them.
Yeah, it's all ogre now.
They're never tapping the Shrek well again, are they? They're never doing another.
They surely will.
Last I heard, they scrapped Shrek 5 in favor of a Shrek reboot.
Oh, no. Why?
Because it's been too long that there's there's probably a whole new generation of kids that didn't grow up on Shrek. So
they grew up with the memes. They grew up through it that way. That's good
yes,
enough.
they know.
They know about
That is
Shrek.
oh my God,
Shrek is everywhere.
You made me realize that there's probably a whole entire generation of kids these days who did not grow up on Shrek, but instead grew up on Shrek's dankness instead.
Okay. Well, I hate this. I hate this like mindset where like, well, it's a new generation hasn't seen it, so we got to remake it for the new generation to see it.
Yeah.
Just do your duty as a parent and show them the original. You don't need to spend millions of dollars to reboot something that came out 20 years ago. How old is Shrek now? It's been about 20 years, right? 2001.
It was 2001, definitely.
Yeah.
So next year will be 20 years.
Yeah, that's not that old. You don't need to. No.
Hey, remember that when they remade Jurassic Park, but they secretly treated it as a sequel?
I remember. I wish I didn't.
Remember when they remade Terminator last year and pretended it was a reboot sequel?
I didn't. I actually didn't go and see that because
I didn't either.
I didn't want to put myself through that. Derek, did you go and see Terminator? What was it even called?
Terminator Deepfake.
Terminator Dark.
Terminator Dark Fart.
I did go see. I actually didn't go see it. I waited until it came out and then I watched it, and it is a movie. It's honestly, if you can get past. I guess I won't spoil it for the chat. If you can get past the first 30 seconds of the movie,
the thing that everyone's upset about.
It's a movie. It's not a bad movie, but it's certainly not a good movie.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You may not have noticed it, but your brain did.
I've seen the scene of that movie. Online.
It's even more frustrating in the context of the movie because the movie actually opens with like a really awesome title card sequence.
Oh yeah,
that's it's made up of clips of Terminator 2, and it's really cool. And then you get to the first scene of the movie, and it.
It's like, hey, remember how awesome Terminator 2 was? Well, fuck it.
Yep.
Yeah. Though I don't know. I will say again, I don't want to spoil anything. I don't want to spoil the mastery of was. I don't want to ruin that experience for anybody out there.
Or he'll rant at you on Twitter.
Oh,
hey,
no.
He can get in line behind the Ultraman fans. Thank you very much.
Yeah, rant on people.
Isn't that what like a lot of Hollywood directors and actors do these days? You criticize their movie and they'll just go meh 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 meh.
Yep.
It's like who was asking for a Charlie's Angel reboot?
There was a Charlie's Angel reboot?
Yeah, and nobody watched it, and they were blaming the audience for it. It's like, yeah.
That's a question. That's another weird. I don't want to get into tangents. Then again, that's like a defeating because this whole podcast has been a giant tangent.
Sure has.
Or live stream. What was I going to even say? Oh, yeah, Charlie's Angel. Is anybody clamoring for a Charlie's Angels movie?
No.
Like, it's the same thing with, like, the Baywatch movie and the Chips movie.
Oh, my God.
Like, who cares? Why are these... These are all things made... These are all things made... These are all things made for me. Like, they're not made for, like, a hip new generation who wants to see a badass version of Chips. Like, I got to wonder if there's that many people out there. Who they think this is gonna like. I know with Fantasy Island though, didn't Blumhouse make that? And they made it into a horror movie.
Yep. I've heard that movie was incredibly mismarketed. I've been told that it's not actually a horror movie. That it's just like a Fantasy Island movie, but then apparently it's got like 3 different storylines that you follow throughout the movie.
Yeah.
And only one of them is a horror movie, or only one of them is a horror storyline. So there's like a horror movie happening within the movie, but that's not the movie itself.
I gotcha. Yeah, because that kind of, again, I only saw the trailer for it, but that kind of made me upset. Where it's like, it's that same thing they pulled with the stupid banana splits thing. Where it's kind of the mindset of, we want to bring this really obscure thing back, but now it's old and weird and outdated, so let's make it ironically horror.
Like, given that it's Hanna-Barbera, they did do exactly that with Space Ghost Coast to Coast and Harvey Birdman, Attorney at Law.
Well,
so it's like
worked.
I can't blame him for that. But at least those two, like turning a superhero into either a lawyer or
Yeah.
a TV host, that's at least more original than just ripping off Five Nights at Freddy's, which apparently
Yeah.
rumors say that they just took a rejected script for Five Nights at Freddy and repurposed it into a Banana Splits movie.
I'm glad that a lot of these reboot things aren't making a lot of money though. Like, wasn't that Child's Play thing kind of a flop?
Oh yeah,
failure?
I forgot that was a thing.
Yeah. With
I saw that one in theaters.
Oh, how'd you like that one?
I didn't.
There you go.
It was another one of those movies where it was like, yeah, this isn't a bad movie, but why is the real question? Like, they're still doing the original Chucky movies. There's still sequels to that. So, like, why reboot it?
Yeah. Underwhelming
Right.
and pointless.
Mr. L brought up, wasn't there rumors of an MIB and 21 Jump Street crossover? Yeah, MIB 23.
Wasn't there a remake or a reboot of Men in Black with Chris Hemsworth?
Right. And nobody. I saw it with friends, and it was like the most predictable, most generic plot. It's like they took like there's like a particular set of I bet you there's a screenplays. I bet you there's like a whole set of generic as fuck screenplays that they go to, just replace all the proper nouns with whatever the main characters' names are, and just slapped it and applied it to whatever's popular. So it's like they took a generic screenplay and slapped the Men in Black on it and adapted it into a movie. And it's like I could predict every single beat of the movie like 5 steps ahead. It's like, oh, I bet this is gonna happen. Yep, it's happening. Is there gonna be a big blue light in the sky? Yep, there's a blue light in the sky. Are they gonna fight a big gray monster? Yep, there's another big gray monster.
Yeah, it really is at this point.
Is it going to be a twist villain? Yep, there's a twist villain.
Everybody always says that Hollywood just repeats the same story over and over again. But I think there's truth to that throughout like the history. But it's just so much more blatant now, and like so much more tired, and nobody wants to say anything new or revive these franchises with any.
Honestly, I think that's why funny enough that plays a huge part into why Matt really loves the Greasy Strangler.
Oh God! Don't bring
so
us back
new.
to the Greasy. We thought we were past the Greasy Strangler.
It's trying something new and different. God damn it!
Mortified. So, but anyway, are we ever going to talk about your fly?
I was about to say on the topic of reviving bad ideas. On the topic, this will probably be the last thing we talk about because I want to get going here. But yes, I am hard at work on a fan film sequel to the original The Fly trilogy. So it follows up on the events of The Fly, Return of the Fly, and Curse of the Fly. Or that's the movie. That is what it's called.
Yeah, that is amazing. It's amazing that it's a follow-up to the original. Did you see those before you saw the Cronenberg one?
So kind of interesting. I had this book as a kid called A Field Guide to Monsters, and it was now that I'm older, I realize what the book actually is, but back then it really is what you think it is. Like when you're a kid, you really take it as like, oh, this is a field guide to monsters. It's got like a whole prelude written by Van Helsing, like I've traveled the world and found every monster, and it's just basically a book of movie monsters where it tells you their stats, their strengths, their weaknesses, how to beat them in a fight, what they do, what they're known for, and their first appearance in film or whatever. And as you get older, you realize that it's actually kind of a parody of those movies. Like it just like is constantly poking fun at the characters in like a loving kind of way. But as a kid, I was so obsessed with that book, so obsessed with it, and in it there was The Fly. They had 2 The Flies in the book. They had the one from the original movie, and they had Cronenberg's Brundlefly. And so I became obsessed with what is that? I need to know what that is. And when I was like 8 years old, which is way too young to have been, I sat down and me and my brother sat down and we watched Cronenberg's The Fly. And strangely enough, despite how gruesome and intense that movie is, it had no impact on me. Like,
Oh.
none of the disturbing stuff disturbed me. Nothing really grossed me out because I had known what he winds up as. I had seen the image of Brundlefly for so long that I
Yeah.
guess my 8-year-old brain didn't really process it. And so I was like, this isn't a human being. There's actually a monster inside of him. And so the whole time I was just waiting for the monster to come out. I loved the movie, though. I thought it was awesome. And then because of that movie, I went back and watched the 58 The Fly on YouTube. And I remember really liking that one in the same kind of way that I became really obsessed with the movie Conga for a while as a kid. And I was like, there was like that strange, like 50s, 60s style monster movie that I just loved. And those two movies were like the big ones for me. And then I watched The Fly 2, which is the sequel to Cronenberg's The Fly, which was also on YouTube back in the day. And I really, really liked that movie. I loved the monster. I loved the fly monster at the end, and I loved there's like a deformed, grotesque dog in that movie that I thought was awesome.
Oh yeah.
As you get older, you realize it's a little less awesome and a little more sad. But as a kid, it's like, oh man, a monster, awesome! I wish my dog could turn into a monster.
Or imagine it's like you were too young to realize the monster was the dog. He's like, where'd the dog go? Oh, cool monster!
Yeah, exactly. And so from when I was 8 years old, over 10 years later, I finally sat down, and because this Christmas my brother got me the new Fly Blu-ray set, the franchise set, and my oldest brother and my youngest brother and we all watched the entire franchise week to week. So technically, in my capable mind, yes, I did see the originals first, but if you want to go back to historically, no, I saw the Cronenberg movie first.
I gotcha.
But yeah, we just watched those, and I loved them. The Fly almost instantly became probably my third favorite franchise, right after Godzilla and Kong.
Oh, that's awesome.
I loved it so much, and I became really obsessed with those movies. I'm still really obsessed with them. I'm listening to all the commentaries, going through all the special features. I bought the book written by a couple film historians and the actor who played the original Fly, Dave Hedison. So I bought the book so I could learn everything about these movies. And so I'm really obsessed with them at this point. But when we were watching the original The Fly, me and my oldest brother were joking around because there's a scene where, I guess I won't spoil it because I don't want to spoil anything, but there's a scene in the original movie where a plot point is introduced that is never resolved. You never find out what happens with it. It's because it ties into the short story, which I've also just read, which was published in Playboy the year prior. And in the short story, they follow through with that. You see what happens with that storyline. But in the movie, they never explain. And then by the time you get to the third movie, another event happens that is left without resolution, and so there's no explanation for either of these two storylines. And my brother and I were like joking, hey, wouldn't it be funny to make a parody of 50s monster movies where we resolved these storylines? And it was going to be like, yeah, what if like some unknowing guy accidentally buys the house from the original The Fly, and then he finds the teleporters and mayhem ensues. We went from that idea, which was like the original goofy concept, and then the more I started to dive into the Fly movies and I started to watch interviews with Vincent Price, and I was listening to Vincent Price talk about how, because initially the concept is super absurd, and I won't spoil it because it's the point of the movie, and I don't want to say it yet because I'm not even technically finished with the script yet, so I don't want to say what it's actually about yet, but the concept is absurd. And so initially I was like, well, you have to play it silly because it's such an absurd concept. But the more I listen to these interviews with Vincent Price, he's talking about like, oh, all horror movies are just absurd concepts. None of them work on paper. You absolutely have to play them seriously. Otherwise, there's either no point or you're going to do it wrong. And the more I listened to him, the more I got into the idea of actually doing a serious sequel to The Fly based on the same concept. So it kind of evolved from a self-parody into it's still an absurd concept, and we're aware that it's an absurd concept, and so it's not going to be. Obviously, we're aware of that, but it will. We're going to take it as seriously as we possibly can, because we want to try and match the tone of the original movies. Because now that I'm really into those movies, I'm really committed to the idea of making an actual fan sequel
and
to them.
that's the great thing about 50s movies like that, is that, you know, despite the absurd concepts, they were played pretty darn straight.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, the idea of a man with a giant fly head and then a fly with a little man head, it's already silly enough. So we are already setting our story in a universe that is silly enough. So I think the idea we have in this movie, by comparison, is just normal. It's just a normal idea, given the fact that we're playing around in this 50s sci-fi universe.
Yeah.
Right.
And if you need a Vincent Price voiceover cameo,
I was about
that idea.
I was about to
I'm
mention
afraid
that.
he's got a fly head.
Yes!
I'd be happy to do it.
Yes! Oh my god.
I was gonna say yes. Brayton can nail a Vincent Price impression.
Actually, I think I might go
movie.
back right now, and I think I might write a new voiceover narration introduction to the movie.
Yeah,
excellent.
there's some like lost archived like audio.
Yeah, what's that shit they pulled in the Halloween thing with like the guy who sounded like.
That was
I know,
cool.
that's what I mean. That's what I mean. I thought that was really cool with the guy who sounded like Donald Pleasance doing the voiceover. Yeah, do something like that. I'd be happy. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, that could be really cool. Actually, I love that idea, and I've been thinking about. We'll see. I have zero faith in this idea, but it's like it doesn't hurt to try. The worst that could happen is I get rejected. I've been thinking about reaching out to the actor who played Philippe Delambre, the son of the Fly, in the movie Return of the Fly, because his character would still be alive. And I've been thinking about reaching out to him to see, can I get you for a cameo to reprise your role? Because I just think that'd be awesome. It'd be a super simple role. I have it all in my head what his character could do. All he'd need to do is act on the other side of a telephone. So easy enough.
Okay, awesome.
Easy enough.
Yeah.
Raymond Burr's some of his most famous movies are him reacting to things he had nothing to do with. Right. So absolutely, we could get this guy.
Or what was that one actor like that Red Letter Media always made fun of during their Best of the Worst movies? Who appeared in a lot of.
Are you talking about Cameron Mitchell? Leave that man
yeah.
alone. Don't put Cameron. Don't.
No, I was gonna say you just pull a Cameron Mitchell and have him have like a super minimalist role.
Oh yeah. Just have, but it's still awesome that he's there. Is the thing.
Yeah. As for Cameron Mitchell, he's dead already, I think. So, but even then, like his last movie was just stock footage from his previous movie before that.
Well, the good thing is this guy's not dead, and I think if you're able to pull that off, that would be freaking amazing. I love this idea. And I'm happy you're doing it, and it's going to be amazing.
I'm super excited about it.
It sounds incredibly ambitious, and I can tell you got a lot of passion behind this idea, and I want nothing more than to see this come to life.
It is by far the most it's by far the most ambitious project.
I'll have you know,
I'm working
Derek,
on.
your prank star channel was the most ambitious project.
Hey, that prank star channel is a masterpiece, and it will continue to be a masterpiece as long as we continue to write that show. We're gonna film pranks for it. But
after this is also.
But after Prank Stars, and after setting aside the grand vision that is my book, we'll see if it comes to light of day. Setting aside that, because that's such a far out dream. This is by far the most ambitious project I've tackled, and I'm super excited for it. We're gonna really try to make it as good as possible. We just all day today, right after I finished the stream with Ghidorah and those guys, when I finished watching their panel, we went out and we just started prop hunting, looking for props that we need. We bought some cases that we're going to turn into teleporters, and so we've got. I don't want to say it's still an extremely low budget production. Right now we're looking at. I think we spent $200 maximum today, and then we're gonna try. I'm gonna try and buy a new camera and new mic so that we can have a little bit better, more HD than Cloudy is. So we're really trying with it, although it will be in black and white. It's a black and white film.
That's great.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's a black and white film set in, who knows? It's really difficult because the original Fly movies have such a hard-to-follow timeline, where the original movie is definitively set in 1958. We know that. The next
Yeah.
movie came out in 1959, but the son in the original movie, Philippe, is now played by a brand new actor who is supposed to be anywhere from 18 to mid-20s. So at least 10 years has passed between those two movies. And then by the time you get to the movie Curse of the Fly, you have a brand new set of characters who are all adults, and they're supposed to be the son of Philippe. So at least technically four generations passes within the original films. So who knows when my film is set? It's set probably in the near-ish future of us.
It does remind me of a lot of those like horror movies with so many sequels where it's like 5 years later, 10 years
Yeah.
later.
Or
Well,
like,
the Universal movies were the worst at that kind of
So
stuff.
it's like when you really put it into context, like how many years have actually gone by, the last movie in the series usually takes place in the year like 2045
Yes,
with how many
yeah.
time skips they make.
Or
Even
like,
though, of course, they make no attempt to make it look like the future at all. It's just the year the movie that it was made in.
Like Friday the 13th, the first movie opens and it's
exactly.
like present day, and it's 1980. So I don't look our
what was
movie.
it, like Texas, the last Texas Chainsaw movie that came out, where it's like it's a sequel to the first one. It clearly takes place in the present day, even though it's only like 10 years after the first movie.
Yeah.
Our movie is set in a universe where a man's head wound up on the body of a fly that got eaten by a spider. If you're going to be that worried about the timeline, how much time has passed between the original movie, you're probably watching the wrong genre.
Yeah, you gotta let those things fly. Yeah.
That'll be the title of the movie.
Let it fly.
I don't know about that.
Let it fly, let it fly.
Yeah,
No.
it's who knows when it takes place. All that matters is that it takes place after the original movies.
Yeah.
I kind of had to do some retconning because the original movies had some not great continuity, specifically the third movie. The sequel, Return of the Fly, has really good continuity, but the movie Curse of the Fly, it doesn't have that great of continuity. The characters in that movie are stated to be the son of the original Fly, and they cannot be those. They cannot be who they claim to be because they've never been in any of the movies. They were never mentioned. And when they say, "Here's a picture of our father," they show the guy from Return of the Fly. So, so I've fixed it so that's now they are officially the kids of the guy from Return of the Fly. And then another generation happens off screen. We don't meet those people. And now we have my generation, because narcissist me, I wrote myself as the main character. Pretty much the only character. My character is now he'd be the grandson of the characters we last saw. It's very complicated. Don't think about it too much.
Don't think about it too much.
Yeah. That's not what this movie's about.
Honestly,
But a guy turns into a fly. What do you want?
Yeah, exactly. Don't worry about it. Who cares?
Do you have a title for this movie? For this?
Do you have a title for the
this
movie?
Yeah. Okay.
I really wanted the title Curse of the Fly because it's so fitting for what the story is, but that title has been taken, so ours is called Ghost of the Fly.
That's much better. Yeah, I was thinking Revenge of the Fly, but no, it's like that's way better.
Yeah, it's Ghost of the Fly. And again, to not spoil anything, the premise is the plot lines that have not been tied up now will come back to bite our current character in the ass. So it's kind of, in a way, the Ghost of the Fly is what comes back to haunt this character in the ass. Yeah.
Yeah. It's amazing. I love it. I can't wait to see this. This is wonderful.
Right. You got me sold. Take my money,
Yeah.
even though you can't make any money off of it. Take it anyways.
Well, that's what I was kind of thinking is like for the camera equipment specifically, it's expensive, obviously. And because you can't raise money for something like this, and if we were to get Brett Halsey back to play the original character, presumably he'd want some money. Yeah. And so I can't officially ask people for money to fund my fan film. Although
Right.
there are some.
Look what happened to Godzilla Heritage.
That's the one that scares me is Godzilla Heritage.
Yeah.
But then I look at projects like a YouTuber who I watch called Dave McRae. He's doing a Black Christmas fan sequel, and he's funding thousands of dollars for that one. And he's already worked out all the legalities where he's like, yeah, we can officially raise up to this amount, and if we pass that amount, then we cross the line. So theoretically, I could raise money for it, but what I was thinking about instead was just like, hey, Kinky Dora, you want to hit me up? Who's to say where this money would go? I have no idea. That's actually when he was funding the Met fees thing. That's where all his money is going, is towards this new camera. So
Okay.
sorry to say it's not going to Met fees. I apologize.
Well, you're shooting in black and white, right? Or you're gonna have it be in black and white?
Or
we're gonna have it be in black and white.
what's that phrase people use? Bottleneck filming, where it's like you have it take place, you have your production take place in as few locations as possible.
That is how ours is.
Yeah.
As few locations and as few characters as possible.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's a trick with black and white. In that case, you could, if you cheat like a lot more with like dramatic like window lighting and stuff like that, you could get really cool like images out of a black and white images with a cheaper camera.
Yeah.
True.
One movie I would love to recommend in terms of bottleneck filming is Detour. It's a movie I've already reviewed on my channel with Matthew Denyon. And it's pretty much like a perfect example of a low-budget B-movie making. And yet, having the story so good, you don't even notice it unless you really pay attention to how very few locations there are in the movie. There's only like maybe 2 sets and then 2 outdoor locations, and that's it.
And this is the 1945 movie?
I believe so. Let me quickly check the year. Detour, film noir, 45 movie. Yeah, 1945. Nice. You can watch it for free. It's only 1 hour and 7 minutes.
Nice.
Check it out. It's a great movie. It's better than it has any right to be a B movie level production.
Well, also in that same vein too, with Vincent Price, there's another B movie that's public domain called it's based off the Last Man on Earth. Is
that called The Last Man on Earth? Is that not what
I think it is called The Last Man on Earth. I'm sorry. It's based off of I Am Legend, and the movie is called The Last Man on Earth. Yeah, which is the same sort of made for extremely cheap.
Yeah.
And takes place mainly in like 4 locations: the dude's house and just around the town.
Yep. That's the other thing is, well, first of all, the original The Fly is the same deal. Actually, all 3 of the original Fly movies are the same deal. They take place almost entirely inside one house, typically in the basement laboratory of said house.
Right.
So the good news is we're dealing with not only although The Fly is an A picture, you're dealing with 2 sequels that were both B movies, and then you're also dealing with a series that already took place in very confined locations for the most part. So it shouldn't be that far out of left field to have a B movie. We're not making
it's not like it's not a sprawling like epic with like locations upon locations. So you got a good template there.
Making a B picture here, and we got the location set, the basement that you've seen in Cloudy, just refitted and actually set decorated this time a little bit.
Yeah, it sounds like it'll be a blast. Like for like if you need like cheap sort of fake cheap looking sciencey looking stuff though, I guess it'd be a little harder now since with the whole thing that's going on. But what I did for our Mystery Science Theater fan film thing was went to Lowe's, just like your local department store, and there's like cheap like plastic sort of I don't know what they're called exactly. They're like Provent plastic rafter sheets, and like each one is like $1, and you can get like 6 of them for like $6, and it'll take up like a whole wall and give you like cool sort of sciencey patterns.
I may have to. After the stream, I'll give you my number so you can send me some info on this stuff. Because first of all, can I just say that your Mystery Science Theater stuff looked fantastic. You did such a good job with that.
I was gonna say anyone in this chat who's a fan of Mystery Science Theater 3000, please go over to Braden's channel, Brands and Films, and watch it like immediately
It
after
is
this
linked,
stream.
it is linked in the description, fellas. Check it out.
Well, just talking about low budget alone, like on that end of things, like the whole set cost me like, I don't know, $150 maybe for like and it's helped by like the lighting and like, the other stuff that's in the frame. But yeah, that was a totally like cheap affair where I had no idea what I was doing. But yeah, we have a little hiatus from it, obviously, with everything going on. We can't film right away, but I'm getting some more of that like vent stuff to put on the back wall to make it even look more spaceshipy, I guess.
I'm looking at the set I'm looking at the image right now. It's such an impressive job. It really does look like it came straight out of the original show.
Yeah, well, like,
Right.
it's a lot of this stuff, if you don't have a lot of money and you just have to be a little more resourceful, like about there's another great YouTube channel. I think it's called like Create Sci-Fi. It's this guy who goes like to dollar stores and like builds like ray guns and crap out of just random toys he finds in the aisle. So if you're resourceful, you don't need like the biggest budget in the world to make something really cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have all faith in this because you're really into it and you got a lot of passion for it, and I love The Fly. And I am seeing this thing, and I can't wait for you to do it.
so
And I want to be a
excited
part
for
of it. If you
Yes.
can
Honestly,
write that
okay,
in.
so here's the great thing is there's the way this is done is kind of I can't think of a movie example. I'm also really into this. Probably might not land with you guys, but the Call of Duty Zombies games,
Okay.
and those have a really in-depth storyline that takes place in the background. Like you have to seek it out yourself. You have to go listen to radios. You have to go do all this stuff. It doesn't present the story to you. You have to seek it out through radios and wisps and whatever else. And because I'm so into that and inspired by that, this is told in a sort of similar way. It's not a strictly someone's journal. It's not found film or anything like that. It's not like a video diary, but you are watching someone document his journey, starting from finding out basically his family's origins. There's a tragic event in his family that is suspect, and at the very beginning of the story he's like, I need to learn more about this, and that takes him on the journey that he goes on. And so it's done in the style of him documenting that, leading to him documenting basically the creation of teleportation. And so it's like a journal. It's like you're watching someone journal. So he'll pull out a voice recorder and he'll talk into it, or he'll set up a camera and speak into the camera. And so there's a lot of, it feels very on paper, seemingly like it's just constant exposition. It's just constantly someone explaining, okay, here's what's happening and why it's happening. But I wrote it in the most natural way I possibly could, and I passed the script around to a few people to make sure it isn't just some guy sitting there telling you what's happening. So I tried to do it as naturally as possible, and there is a section where he details basically, well, the original The Fly, it's not this on the nose, but like the original The Fly trilogy happened, and here's what you missed.
Yeah.
And I think a perfect opportunity maybe to swap out that whole section and have a voiceover from Vincent Price found on archival tapes, the same way
pretty
Halloween
neat.
2018 did it.
Mm-hmm.
There you
Yeah.
go. Now the viewers get to witness history.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And hey,
Yeah,
if
this
you ever
sounds
need
amazing.
if you ever need like a random background radio voice, I can always do something.
Yeah, exactly.
I can do something.
Exactly.
You can do Admiral Akbar in the background.
There's a guy with a fly head. Oh my god! Don't touch that equipment. It's a trap.
Yes. There's
But it sounds like you got a great plan here, though. You got I think doing it in that sort of stylized way is going to make it really interesting.
Yeah,
and I think it also helps with the fact that we have nothing to work with. We don't have any
Oh, yeah.
actors. We don't even have access to our full cloudy cast due to COVID. So
yeah.
like I can't even film with both of my brothers. I have one brother. Potentially we hopefully can get a scene with the guy who plays Cam.
Right.
So like it's so limited. It's one character primarily. There's two scenes that take place in a park very briefly. There's one scene that takes place in a library very briefly, but the majority of it is all set in this basement.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
It's-
you can do it. You can use your like limitations to your advantage, like from a story
Absolutely,
point
yeah.
of view.
It's like I forgot where I've heard this, but I've heard this so many times where it's like I feel like the more limited you are, it forces you to become more creative and create a better product overall. And hey, you know, given that our most cherished franchise is Godzilla was something that was created out of limitations.
Yep.
So it's like, yeah, it's like perhaps this, you know, as obviously as horrible as this COVID situation is, in the context of your film, it could be somewhat of a blessing in disguise in terms of forcing you to be more creative than ever before.
Think outside the box.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, the original story was gonna be, it was gonna be a guy and his friend discovering all this stuff together. There was gonna be a female character involved, like the librarian who they were gonna meet and talk with. They were gonna meet her, and she was gonna be a character. So originally there was only gonna be 3 characters, but we can't even do that, so it's been reduced to 1 character, which is why it went from being an in the moment learning with each other to kind of like a reflection journal, which I think is kind of an interesting take in and of itself. I hope so. I hope it's interesting. I hope it's not just boring, but we'll see.
I love it. I'm sure it'll be great. Yeah. And again, you know, the story that you're telling, you know, it's not going to be, I don't think it'll be a hindrance to it that you're not, because again, it's not like you're doing a sequel to like, or something in the universe of, I don't know, what's some like, again, like Lawrence of Arabia or something where like, no, it makes sense for a dude to be here sort of, you know, journaling in a laboratory rather than, you know, on the moon.
Yeah.
So I think I don't think it's going to be a hindrance to the film at all. And I love this idea. I think it'll be, in the words of our favorite drunken hobo, great, go for it. I think it'll be
Yes.
Oh my god.
And I'm really happy that you're doing more film stuff. It's going to be great.
Yeah, it should be fun. It'll be our first serious thing we've ever done. Because we've only we have unreleased projects that are almost ready to go right now, but they are equally, if not more so, silly than cloudy. So this will be our first attempt at doing something actually serious.
Yeah.
I'm doing a semi-original score for it, so that's another thing to.
Ooh, nice.
I say semi-original because it in the vein of my custom themes for Godzilla music, it works with music from both the Cronenberg film and the 58 film, and kind of interweaves them into one score. So semi-original. I'm still having to write it and record it all, but it's going to be based on music that already exists.
Yeah.
And I bet I can easily tell without a shred of doubt that this college film production will go way better than a particular college film that I cannot say that I'll mention in as a there.
You could have also put
out.
Yeah, are you talking about which way they fly, Andres? Is that what you're talking about?
Which direction thou shalt march?
Okay. Well, yeah, but no, yeah, I think this is a much more interesting idea.
It's also kind of motivated by the fact that I had such a terrible experience in college and film school this first semester or this first year. It's motivated by the fact that I had such a terrible experience there that I want to do this entirely on my own to prove that I can do something better without them, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
And I know that sounds super egotistical, like super full of myself, but it's like there were so many politics and so many I can't talk about on stream things that happened in that school that really made me so mad and I think worked their best to ruin every project I touched.
Mhm.
And so I'm hoping this one will be the one that I get right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can definitely tell you from experience, like doing my own indie project, working outside the comic system. Like I could have easily tried to work with a publisher in terms of like trying to get my comic out there, but I decided to do everything on my own because at that point I have full control over everything and anything and everything that's a part of it. And so it is a little more difficult working on your own, but at the same time the reward and the risk is much lower, I feel, because again you have more control over everything, over how it turns out, and the reward, it's so much more rewarding to know that you did this all on your own
Yeah.
with
And you
complete
learn
freedom.
a lot.
Mhm.
You
Oh
learn a
yeah,
lot doing it
totally,
on your
yeah.
own, too.
Well, I think
Yeah,
that
yeah.
the thing that I have kind of in the back of my head, especially if we can get this cameo from Brett Halsey, is like especially if we can get the cameo from Brett Halsey, is there's no reason why I couldn't remake it later once I learned from my mistakes, you know? Like
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh
like,
yeah, yeah.
There's like if we have that footage, he's not interacting with anyone in person, so there's no reason why we couldn't. Assuming
Reuse
that
the
this
footage.
project, assuming that this
Yeah.
project doesn't go exactly how I hope it will, which of course it won't. No project does, but assuming it turns out like I'm not satisfied with it, there's nothing to say that I can't give it another shot later.
Sure.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, hey, if certain people, I've seen like professional filmmakers who would later go on to remake their own student films with a
Yeah.
much higher production.
And that's how
I mean,
Saw got made.
yeah. Or hey, Frankenweenie.
Oh
Look
yeah.
at
Yeah.
that. Nobody ever talks
Yeah.
about Frankenweenie. That's a great movie.
I've never seen it, so
You should.
I hear. Okay, Gamera's in it. You're good.
Yeah.
Did I ever show you? I made. Okay, this is a little just dumb thing, but I made like a Photoshop of the big turtle from Frankenweenie, the
Yeah.
cartoon turtle that looks like Gamera, and
Yeah.
I photoshopped him alongside the kid from Up, and I'm like, hey, animated Gamera reboot. But anyway,
Perfect.
but no, yeah. I mean, and the thing is too, you know, it's not gonna go. Nothing's ever gonna go exactly how you envision it in your head. I mean, that's just the name of the game. But
yeah.
it's the best thing you can get out of it is like even if it doesn't turn out exactly the way you wanted it, you still have the experience and you have the learning experience from. Because if you look at the student films and college films of great directors, they weren't all winners straight out of the gate. They were still learning, and that's an okay thing to do. It's okay to make mistakes when you're young.
Oh, totally. Yeah. And I prior to recording, I was already telling you about the sort of like anxiety I sort of felt prior to releasing my comic.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, I'm sure it's like you cannot prevent yourself from not having things be 100% perfect, and so whatever imperfections may or may not happen, it's just gotta learn from them for next time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what Cloudy is. That whole first season is just a series of us messing up and then
I love it though.
and then learning to fix it later. Like that first episode is such a prototype episode. Oh my god. And there's so many editing mistakes in that episode. There's so many terrible camera angles and weird line deliveries and all this. It's just a series of mistakes. So
but at least you guys do improve though. Like that's the thing about doing something is that you learn from it and you can improve upon it later. Like if you look at the first episode of your guys' show and then the last episode of the seasons, you can tell that there's definitely a jump in pretty much everything, all of the production elements of it.
Yeah. And I'm sure looking back a year from after we finish Ghost of the Fly, I'm sure Ghost of the Fly will hopefully be better than anything we've done before it.
Yeah.
Probably Cloudy season 2 will be better than Ghost of the Fly because it's it's just constantly a progression. So I'm not going into this like we're gonna make the most masterpiece ever and it's gonna be perfect, blah blah blah. We're going in to make a fun monster movie.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
You're never gonna be satisfied looking back on your work. You're never gonna be satisfied with every little detail or whatever.
Right.
But I mean, there's nothing wrong with learning from your experiences and doing something, a passion project like this, that you're gonna have fun with. and you're going to learn things from, and I can tell already is going to be very interesting and a lot of fun. So I look forward to it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Fingers crossed.
Absolutely.
It's all right.
Well, you gotta have a reference at least to your Fly film in the second season of Never Cloudy, just for fun.
Yeah.
There's this weird guy over there working on some experiment. I don't know what's happening over there.
Don't pay attention.
Just the fact that they happen to say, he looks awfully like you, Derek. No, he doesn't. That guy looks nothing like you.
Look, he's got a mustache or something.
Yeah, I've clearly shaved by the time season 2 is filmed.
Yeah.
Or just have like have your random fly monster just walk across.
Just take a stroll through. It's like how the Sleepy Gary puppet, the puppet we use for our Sleepy Gary videos, which I don't know if either of you are familiar with. But the puppet we use, the puppet
you
we
do
use
puppet work?
Yes,
hell?
I puppeteer and I voice Sleepy Gary.
Oh my god!
The puppet we use for that appears once an episode in Cloudy at minimum. He appears in the background of the scenes.
I don't remember that. I'll have to go back and see this.
If you see half of a man's body like dangling from something or sitting at a computer, it's the puppet for Gary.
Oh, okay, and it wasn't the last Ultra fan who tried to wrong use corpse displayed.
Exactly.
Okay.
Legally it's not.
Legally it's not.
Legally it's not.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll see. Should be fun. It's the longest script we've ever done. It's the most hopefully serious one we do. Hopefully we pull it off.
Cool.
Totally. Go right into it, kid.
We believe in you. You can do it.
Yeah.
I'm that one random Mexican character played by Rob Schneider. You can do it.
Yeah.
Actually, I just thought of another brilliant idea. Hold on one
You're
second.
not gonna try and get Rob Schneider to cameo.
That is exactly what I'm gonna do.
No.
I mean, he did Norm of the North. He'll pretty much do anything.
He'll do anything. You just give him a chocolate bar and he'll do it. He'll be there.
He could do anything, but should he?
Should he be allowed?
Yes, that's the question right there. That's the $1 million question of the stream, my friends.
Yeah.
So I've been having such a hard time removing the music because there's the beginning of the movie opens with a montage of the previous movies, and I wanted this dialogue piece from Vincent Price, and I cannot get the music out of that dialogue.
Yeah. There's a software online. I don't know the name of it, but you can use it's like an AI sort of system, voice synthesizer system that it's automated and it's free, but you can use it to like extract vocals from songs. So something like that might work, but yeah, even then you probably wouldn't get it like clean sounding. Yeah, I don't know.
Here, let's do a live demo. Would
Okay.
you wanna? Oh my!
Oh, what do you want me to read something?
I want you to read these lines.
Oh boy.
Okay.
The line spacing came out pretty terrible. Let me fix it.
All right. I'm a little rusty now since it's 1 a.m. and I haven't vocally prepared, but I'll give you a rough approximation here.
This is again history in the making, friends.
I gotta do my Vincent Price warm-ups. What can I say as Vincent? Yes, haunted flies.
Perfect.
Blueberry. Okay. All right. He was like an explorer in a wild country where no one had ever been before. He was searching for the truth. He almost found a great truth. But for one instant, he was careless. Or something to that extent. I don't know. That's a little more Orson Welles, but close enough.
Yeah. I know there's a little dip into that. Yes.
Yes. And Vincent Price is more, yes. But there you go. That's something along those
I want
lines.
a conversation between Orson Welles and Vincent Price now.
Say, Orson, would you like some? I prepared some cheese in my haunted house hill party. You do
fun.
Orson. I'll do Vincent Price.
Okay, yes. I have the deeper voice. I know what it's like to voice a difficult actor.
Now you see, I have some assorted cheeses here, some chicken. I know you enjoy your banquets and whatnot.
Oh, what fun. I haven't had the money to buy myself lunch for the last 20 minutes.
See, this will be another production than Andre's tonight. We'll do like the two-man road shows.
Orson and Vince.
But yeah,
I'm gonna upload that audio conversation, and hopefully some animator comes along and does it for us.
Oh my god, yeah.
Look,
But,
the French fry in my beard.
Yeah, that'll be cinematic gold. Vincent Price offering Orson Welles a
Some
variety of
cheese.
cheeses.
Some cheese.
But no, yeah. Yeah, if you
always.
need me to read anything there, man, I will be on board.
Awesome.
I love this.
And if you need help directing the picture, I could offer my assistance as well.
From the grave.
I must finish my booze here. Ah, the French champagne. It's delectable. There's a California champagne by Paul Masson. Inspired by that same French excellence.
This way, you don't let the ghost of Orson Welles direct. He kind of just goes on like that.
Ah.
You've got this, Derek. You don't need this dead man telling you what to do.
We know a farm in Lincolnshire. There Mrs. Buckley lives. Every July,
You can't
peas
stop
are
it.
there.
It just continues.
Rosebud.
Anywho, yes.
I can see where I'm not welcome here. Good day to you. There's no money that's worth this.
Oh God.
That was an emotional
But-
roller coaster. We just alienated Orson Welles from the stream.
I know his family and the estate of Orson Welles are going to come out.
Excuse me, I seem to have forgotten my cheese and my chicken here. I seem to have misplaced it. Oh, yes, it was all over my shirt. I am a rather sloppy eater. I'll be on my way now.
Well done. Well done. But I like how this is gonna go. You're gonna do some original music for it. I have a lot of faith in this. This is gonna be awesome, and I know you're gonna have a fun time doing this. Hopefully. Hopefully you don't explode and turn into the Fly mid.
Right.
But if it happens, no way to do it better, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Effects
Doing
can't get
something
any
you
more
love.
practical than that.
Yeah. Use it to your advantage.
Exactly.
And carry on the rest of your YouTube career just being a dude with a fly head.
Just buzzing around.
People can't accept that. That's their loss. It's 2020. Get with the times. Giant fly men run the internet now. It's okay. It's okay.
I, for one, enjoy our insect overlords.
Yeah. Yeah. The insects of YouTube, as one might say. Yeah, I look forward to this. Go for it, man.
Did the chat think that this is what they were going to sit through when they tuned in?
No. They were looking for what's the title of this video?
Not
Non-
G-Fest.
Well,
With
they can't
the boys.
complain. We are boys. This is not G-Fest. What do you want?
We gave
Right.
them the most
And-
not
and-
G-Fest
and-
that they could get.
And it's
Yeah.
2020
Yeah.
live
What are you
on
complaining about?
July 11th. Yeah.
Do this again next year. Well, no, there's probably going to be a G-Fest next year. But if there isn't, do the same thing and disappoint everybody all over again.
I
the way
expected
it
a long
crumbles.
tangent. Nice.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Of course. We embrace the tangents here,
Yeah.
at least on this particular stream.
Sorry for polluting your stream with the tangent, Derek. We didn't.
Yeah.
We can't help it.
And the not Godzillas.
Yeah.
This
Hey, Godzilla's a cool thing that we like. Is that
Yeah.
enough?
Yeah.
Is that-
Yeah.
This
That's
is
all you
this is the culmination of everything. This is what my whole channel has been building up to. The Sons of
Just call
Serizawa
it
is
quits
what
from here.
the Sons of Serizawa is what inspired me to make my channel. So it was only fitting that eventually I would wind
would
up
happen.
on a massive tangent with one of the sons talking
Yeah.
about
And-
the Greasy
and one of the-
Strangler.
I'm one of the fill-in sons. I'm like a cousin.
Yeah.
One of the
He is-
sons and then the
He is,
stepson.
he is
Yeah.
the daughter of Daisuke.
Oh,
Okay.
nice.
Okay, because it
I'm-
always goes back to the daughters of Daisuke.
Yeah. The dude, as we call it.
Yeah, I was on a couple episodes of SOS. I'm an
That's
unofficial
true. Yes,
member.
you're an honorary son of Serizawa.
I'm like, what are they called? Like a special guest star. That's it.
Yes,
I'm,
exactly. And we
so-
only ever had
close
one
enough.
other, and it was Jacob Baker.
Yeah, so I'm in good
He's
company.
special. Yeah.
And yeah, this was
You're
this
you're
was fun.
among friends.
I'm among
Absolutely.
friends. This
Yes.
was a blast. I enjoyed doing this, and thank you so much for having us on.
Absolutely, man. It's been a lot of fun, and yeah, I'd like to repeat what Brayton said. Thank you so much for inviting us on this. It's been a ton of fun, an absolute
A ton of fun.
Yes.
You get to. I just got free labor out of you, so that's all what it's about. I just scammed Brayton into giving me free dialogue. So
I know. Yeah, I'll when we do it for your film, I'll prepare better. Yeah.
He'll get the invoice pre-prepared.
I'll do my Vincent Price warm-ups and like of a training montage where I grow a little pencil mustache and prep for the part.
Hey, I have one of those. I could do it.
You could. I'll just dub you, and then it'll work. It'll be great.
Here's what I'll do. I'll cut the mustache off and I'll ship it to you, and then you can glue it.
Oh, okay. You shave your mustache. I'll glue the hair to my face just for this role.
Yeah.
And then that won't be complicated at all.
For a role you have no screen time of.
Exactly.
He'll even put on his Dr. Forrester.
Yeah, I've got multiple lab coats here. I won't explain.
Where does one grab? Did you just order those off Amazon or what?
So for the Dr. Forrester lab coat that I have, I got that off of Etsy. And then I'm actually having a new red jumpsuit made specifically for me by somebody on Etsy that I had to give them like my measurements for, and it was weird, but that'll be fun. But anyway, yeah, the spare lab coats that I've got, I just picked them up at Halloween, like around Halloween time. You can get like white mad scientist coats.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you can find, more heavy duty lab coats on the interwebs, but
yeah.
Not sure where you can find fake mustaches.
Just don't get anything off of Facebook, because apparently...
Or Wish.com.
Wish.com, yeah. Apparently anyone who buys off of Wish.com off of Facebook ads, they are nothing like what they're advertised. Yeah. I have no idea why they keep popping up all of this all year long.
Yeah.
I'll probably swing by like a party store tomorrow, because we need a lab coat for the fly.
Yeah.
So I'll probably be like, do you guys have any... rigor mortis costumes?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I'm looking for non-pickled Rick. Do you guys have one?
just your character is just a giant pickle. And
Morty.
Okay, so all right, I have a brilliant idea.
Uh-huh.
He doesn't go through with a fly. He goes through with a pickle.
A pickle. Oh, great.
I swear, he turned himself into a pickle. Funniest shit I ever saw.
Just recreate the ending of the original Fly. Help me, help! But he's like he's on a sandwich and like a big guy's about to eat him.
Yeah,
throws a rock at the guy. Thank you, son. Go inside the house. Damn luck. Yeah, and then just get somebody to eat a sandwich, and you have a dramatic closing to your ghost of the pickle.
Ghost of the pickle.
Yeah. But no, yeah, you should be able to find lab coats at like your local Party City or whatever.
I was gonna say, like, is Halloween even gonna happen this year? If so, it's like, is Party City gonna still do costumes? Are we still gonna get those Spirit Halloween pop-up shops?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. If you can't find any there, you can find cheap ones on eBay for like $10 or something.
The good thing about Halloween is that you're already most likely in a mask anyways. So
yeah, that's true.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. There's been plenty of pictures of people like at stores and shit with full-on Halloween. I saw a video of somebody a video of somebody at like a Kmart or something in an astronaut suit. I'm like, okay, that's the extra mile.
I think one of my favorite memes was it's like, don't forget to go out with your mask, dear me. And it's like you see a Power Ranger in the middle of
I've seen that.
I love that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's socially distanced Halloween. It's just a bunch of kids walking through the street and you're hucking candy at them. If you can hit them, you get points.
You just
take this and go.
Just whipping chocolate bars at them.
You use slingshots to shoot at them.
See, I do that every day though already, whether there's a pandemic or it's Halloween or not. I just throw things at walking by children.
At little kids, it's like, fuck you, shit.
How dare you be young? I was young once. Welcome to reality. In the real world, there's grumpy old white men throwing candy at you around their window.
It's a representation of life, kid.
You go to college, you get indebted, and then you die lonely and afraid. Oh, now here's some chocolate bars. That's my experience.
Essentially, life sucks, but hey, it'll throw you some chocolate every now.
Yeah,
and then.
yeah, throw some Starburst or something.
Maybe life is not all full of chocolate, a box of chocolates. Just a few bits of chocolate there.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, if there's one lesson I want you guys to learn this stream, it's that one.
That's it. That's
life is like a box of chocolates, but half of that box is empty, and you don't know. You have to open it at intervals, and the longer you wait,
and enjoy the bits of chocolate that's actually there.
Yeah. The longer you wait, the moldier and grosser the chocolate gets. But also, you have a chocolate limit, so you have to pace yourself.
I can't eat chocolate. I'm allergic. I'll die if I eat chocolate. So I'm screwed either way. So at least you're better off than me because you jerks get moldy chocolate. I don't get any. I get what's the opposite? Oh, vanilla. Okay, yeah, the opposite of chocolate is vanilla. I get gross expired vanilla bars. So life is like a box of chocolates. You're better than me. And
Nana boo boo.
Nana boo boo. Deal with it. Don't watch The Greasy Strangler. Then that's what we learned on the show tonight.
And ladies and gentlemen, that's exactly the way it's been.
Yeah. Happy G-Fest.
Happy not G-Fest, friends.
Fa-fu-dore, fa-fu-dore.
What a time.
Yeah. What a time to be alive.
I'll see you guys next time for the next Not G-Fest 1 year from now. Until then, hope you enjoyed. Say goodbye, friends, because we're donezo.
Goodbye, friends.
Goodbye.
I can't come back. I don't know how it works. I'm leaving.
I've been Andres Perez, aka Kaiju Noir. Please buy my comic if you like giant monsters and giant robots. Here's a link. Take care, everybody.
and I'm B-Man 1954, and
Hey.
I know even less about Ultraman. So pick on me if you want to pick on somebody. So cover your bacon.
I am K-Man 1992.
Oh yeah,
No.
well I'm B-Man 2001. So
well, I'm B-Man Infinity. So yeah. Good night.
Thank you very much, James Varela. See you, everybody. Good night, everyone.
Goodbye.